Come write a novel with me. Belly rubs first for good vibes. Coffee. Fire up the Pinterest board ups. Scrivener. Pick a playlist. Look at me go, I'm so productive. Oh no, I'm stuck. Redo the ponytail. That will help. Just kidding. 1100. My favorite writer hack. 10-minute sprints. Get a good visual before you start. Note how many words you have. Time to race the clock. Time to see how we did. 583 words, not too shabby. Remember to treat yourself after writing.
Today's a good day to start reading a new book. I am reading this one.
Look who decided to grow claws after all, she crowed. Maybe you'll become interesting at last, Elaine. Shall I tend to my little garden forever? When Nesta flinched, Elaine said, "You can't have it both ways. You cannot resent my decision to lead a small, quiet life while also refusing to let me do anything greater." But Elaine said, "I went into the cauldron too, you know, and it captured me."
Repeat after me. Okay. If it's not perfect, on the first try, it's a learning opportunity, and I get to try again. It's trash, I'm trash, and I am never trying that again. No!
Feel bonita?
I feel bonita.
Wonderful, because you look bonita.
I think I like when it rains. You told me to go to the light. And what it's like to feel your pain. Now I'm okay if you're alright.
I am your mother. You listen to me.
Hold on! This is my favorite. Hold on! Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess! The Wicked Witch of the East, bro!
I'm gonna stab him.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong?
It's my favorite
She
movie.
wore a crown and she came down in a bubble,
I'm
dog!
not fighting with you.
Grow
I'm
up,
not fighting
bro!
with you.
Grow up!
told you to run, so we'd both be free. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? Burn necklace of hope, side by side with me. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? Where I told you to run, so we'd both be free. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree.
Houston, not only do we have a problem, I very well might be the problem.
He is not the love of your life. He is literally just a guy. Hit him with your car.
It's going to be rough. It's going to feel like it's going on for a long time, so it's going to be hard to stay alert. It's going to be even harder to be quiet, but you have to do both. You have to do every single thing I say, or we will not make it. Understand?
Would you rather never slay again, or slay so hard every day that slay loses all meaning?
I am not.
I woke up in a new
Well.
Hey bookworms, here's a new challenge for you. Show me a book you're currently reading. Now show me a book you own that you haven't read yet. Now show me another book you haven't read yet. How about one you swear you'll read before buying more? And another, one more. Now show me you ordering even more books. Congratulations, you have a problem.
Dingle bongle dingle dangle, yickety doo, yickety da, ping pong, lippy tappy too ta.
Hey, had the videos broken down like into chapters.
I hear so many people say they would not survive in a fantasy world. And for me, it comes down to this. Would I rather have anxiety about getting to work on time, how much money I spend on gas, people, or would I rather have anxiety about getting eaten by a dragon, being really bad at sword fighting, running for my life from a hot, chiseled, morally great character? I would go with the latter. I would still have anxiety. It would just have a little more flavor.
If you don't like me, just say that. Okay, I don't like you. Why would you say that? It's so mean.
Yes, Robert. What do you want now? More money, a check, a car, my soul?
I love it. I mean, I'm so passionate about it, and it's what I do.
Your passion
all the time.
Yeah, I highly recommend this book. It's one of my favorites of all time. Oh yeah, it did emotionally scar me and mentally wreck me, and I don't think I've ever recovered from it. I remember bawling to the point that I could not see clearly, and the world just felt very unjust and painful after it. So give it a try.
Be nice. I'm finding it. It take you that long to find it?
It does.
Got some blue going on.
Where's that inspiration coming from?
I don't know. I like a little edge and a little pop in my hair, so I wanted to add something different, especially for the Teen Vogue party.
Hi, I'm Maple, and here's my day as a work-from-home writer's dog. First, my mom feeds me like a chicken because she says I eat way too fast, and then she prepares my freezy snack, which is more kibble and a banana and my peanut butter, which is my favorite thing on the entire planet. Then, she makes me pee outside, even though she doesn't have to. And I make sure and look at her so she knows that I'm peeing outside so I can get a treat, which is the most important thing. Next, while my mom is working, I decide that it is playtime. And I always bring my toys over to her like a good girl so that she can play with me too. She says she doesn't want to play, but then she does this anyway because I am adorable. I try to play under her desk, which is apparently way too close to her computer cords, as I have bitten through several of them before. But I knock out, and I finally take a nap. Look at how cute I am. We do some training, which is going really well, and I go sit in my little home. I don't like to sit in there because it makes me feel trapped, but I did it anyways because I'm a brave girl. And then we go for a walk. And then I act like a crazy person right next to Mom's garden because I know it makes her nervous. But I get my freezy snack and that lasts at least 15 minutes. Then Mom does this for the next 4 hours. Doesn't even look at me. So I make her look at me by eating my entire toy. Then I decide to lick my butthole so that Mom has to evacuate her office. Which was a great plan because then I got to play with a shingle and Mom even threw my ball. So like, who's really winning here? And that's a day in my life. Not too shabby.
I don't know what I'm talking about, and I never have. I never really have.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Don't cry.
So TikTok is kind of, how do you say this nicely, firmly nudging people to make longer videos with original audios. You can see why they're trying to compete with YouTube and stuff. So hello, welcome to my original audio. It's going to be longer than a minute. The reason I didn't love this is because I already make YouTube videos and they were already kind of not incredibly consistent because I do have a full-time job and other stuff that I need to get done. So I'm going to try and crack the code. So this is what I'm about to try and do. I'm going to try and record horizontally for YouTube here. And then over its shoulder have my old phone and its cracked screen tucked in here to film a TikTok. I'm a little worried that my eyes are gonna be slightly off, depending on which camera I'm looking at. And I already have a hard time making eye contact with the camera anyways. So wish me luck, and if you're more of a YouTube person that decides to try this as well, let me know.
Dans le V, passé, dans le V, round, dans le V, and step, développé, pas de valse, dans le pas, pas de ballerine, and...
This is my meal. I call this girl dinner. Girl dinner, girl dinner, girl dinner, oh, girl dinner. Back when we were still changing for the best.
Never back down, never what?
Never give up.
Never back down, never what?
Never give up.
Let's go.
Without their dragon is dead. Octavius Soren.
Hey, Paul.
The internet, so it evens out.
Are you so sleepy?
And it goes like this. We'll get in your car and you'll need to kiss me. We'll talk for hours and lie on the backseat. And then one random night when everything changes, you won't reply, I'll go back to strangers.
Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan.
Think of things. Come on, brain. Think of things. Come on, brain. Be so smart.
You should have said no. Can you feel this magic in the air? Come on, don't leave me like this. Take a deep breath in the mirror. Saying it's gonna be alright. In the middle of the night, and my dreams I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl in the world. That's all that you'll let me be. Oh, I'm just a girl living in captivity. Your rule of thumb makes me worry so. Oh, I'm just a girl. What's my destiny? What I succumb to is making me.
Life does not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Balbaran Fae.
The comments on this video are so funny. May I take Rowan and resend and kindly ask Ethan and Therian to just watch in silence? Throw them a Rubik's Cube and Doritos. Oh, it's so true.
All that work and what did it get me? Why did I do it?
So I just read the bonus chapter of Danica and Bryce. I want to get other readers' thoughts on this and like gauge how y'all feel, because it did not make me like Danica better. We see her pretty much getting Bryce drunk for the purpose of going to get her tattooed. Just felt super manipulative, sort of locked Bryce into this fate that, like, without any consulting of her. I personally would want to know if my friend was gonna sign me up to go to war, you know what I mean? Sarah, why?
Already given this tune? Come on.
It's possible I'm still in shock. I'm gonna go to my room and process what just happened. Thank you for your attention.
Y'all, I almost caught my point shoes on fire. I started ballet as an adult, and this is my second ever pair of point shoes, and I'm trying to glue them to get them to last a little longer. But the problem is that I tend to have my shoes go dead right at the platform, and it's really hard for me to see where the glue is going. I also haven't really mastered how much glue to put in them, and the glue started to pool at the bottom, so I got a paper towel to try and sop some of it up, which was probably not my wisest idea. To be honest, I'm lucky I didn't glue the paper towel in there. But the thing is, I didn't know that this glue is like thermal. Here I am trying to figure out if my point shoe is about to catch on fire, and you can't see it, but there's smoke coming up from the paper towel. I was rightfully alarmed, and I checked the packaging, but I didn't see anything on there about the potential for a fire hazard. And for whatever reason, I felt that adding more glue was the solution here. If you haven't used jet glue before, it sort of has the consistency of water. So I had so much in there that I was trying to spread it around the platform and get it to the lower part of the shank. At this point, I wasn't sure if I should be more worried about them catching on fire or if they were going to be blocks during class the next day. All I could really do was let them dry and hope for the best. But luckily, I guessed right because they felt fine the next day, and I think I'm probably going to get a few more classes out of them.
Wait a minute. I didn't think I would be able to get this, but I'm actually gonna go with Jenna Ortega. No? Okay, awesome.
Here's how I make my favorite Greek bowls for lunch. First, I warm up these plant-based meatballs and warm up some naan or pita bread and put in some jasmine rice into the rice cooker. I also had some leftover roasted sweet potatoes, so I added that. You can probably use whatever vegetables you want to, but I really like to include red onion, cucumbers, and tomatoes in these. These are the toppings I used, and I feel like this is what gives it the right flavor. I love garlic hummus, feta, and tzatziki sauce, so I pretty much give myself a heaping spoonful of each in the bowl. Top off with your meatballs and bread, and you've got a super healthy lunch that is really satisfying. Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I make alternative book covers, and I have to show you what I just made. I am obsessed. I really want to make like a sword collection on my bookshelf. I think it would be such a fun theme. I think this is going to be the fourth design, but I don't know if there's enough contrast between the two of these. I'm worried if it prints out, it's going to read a little too flat. Let me know what you think, and if there are any sword types that you think would be really fun to turn into book covers. I am unfortunately not well versed in sword fighting.
Where's Rick?
Don't care.
Where's Rick?
Here's how to sneak vegetables into your breakfast when you don't like savory breakfast food. I start out with honey, plain Greek yogurt, chia seeds, oats, wild blueberries, half of a baked sweet potato, and bananas. First, you'll want to mash up the sweet potato until it's almost like a puree. Measure the amount of honey with your heart and add a huge spoonful of Greek yogurt and whip it all together. I am an instant oats type of person, so you could definitely make this on the stovetop, but I am using instant oats in this video. Use a full teaspoon of chia seeds and then add in your boiling water. I like to mix it up so that the oats can start cooking, and then I add in the puree and the frozen blueberries. Go ahead and mix again before adding in some cinnamon. Again, measure with your heart on this one. I like to microwave it for just a little bit to make sure that the blueberries are warm all the way through. Slice up a banana to go over the top of it, and then I wanted to make it look a little bit fancy, so I added more chia seeds and cinnamon. You can also add almonds or walnuts on top of it, and that's how you sneak vegetables into your breakfast even when you don't like savory breakfast food.
Yes, good girl.
absolute favorite snack that I use to keep my energetic golden retriever busy for about 15 minutes or so. First, I start out with some frozen blueberries and a heaping teaspoon of plain Greek yogurt. I really like to add little banana slices, usually about a half a banana. If I'm feeling extra, I'll squish up the banana into a puree for her. Next, I add in some of her favorite blueberry treats before adding in the water, and then put it into the freezer for a couple hours. Don't forget to give your assistant chef the extra leftovers, and it's perfect for an after-walk snack.
A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead. Welcome to the Fourth Wing.
So I love these dragon covers, but this is my favorite easy work from home lunch. I start off with some fried rice and heat up whatever vegetables I have in the microwave. Any vegetables will do here. I really like the peas and carrots blend, but I did not have any of that today. Scramble some eggs for the protein part of this meal. Add your heated veggies to the rice for a quick and easy lunch that packs in some protein and vegetables.
Go potty. What do you want from me? Go potty.
Suzanne, it's on sign, so you have to see the tributes and like kind of like a red carpet where the other tributes will be, and then we'll just go there.
Cleaning up after replacing all my desk jackets.
Listen, I would never force you to read a book, but you'd be doing yourself a favor.
People think I'm obsessed with this, but I'm okay with it. I am obsessed with it. And I think this is an obsession that doesn't hurt anyone.
Can I see the bookends on your shelves? That's what I want to see.
Hey there. So for affordable bookends, I've used just heavy decor that I've found before. Like this is a rock that I got from my grandparents' house. And then also I'm not using it right now because the books are kind of stacked like this, but I have used Bath & Body Works candles before. I've used these decorative boxes to hold up my books. And I've used this teapot. So if you have something kind of like that's a little sturdy that can hold them up. Or I've also used wine bottles before. They're not holding anything now, but especially when they're full, it's very helpful. And I've also used this duck from Dave & Buster's.
Make her disappear just like poof, then she's gone. Addicted, don't know what the fuck I'm on. I can't stop it when I feel it coming on. When we chill, it starts with smoking something strong. Take her down and then she'll be the surface that I'm coming on.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Bongo la, bongo cha cha cha.
Oh my goodness. She's so beautiful.
Treat.
I make alternative book covers like these and I could really use your help. I'm working on a Greek mythology inspired set and I would love your opinion. Is this kind of like darker color palette the vibe or something more along these lines? I would love to get your opinion because I am very much torn on which direction to go with this.
Bad bitch with a baddie friend. With a baddie friend. I love seeing two bad bitches be friends.
You applied first for the Defense Against the Dark Arts post, is that correct?
Yes.
But you were unsuccessful?
Obviously.
Just on tour making music. Don't ask me how I did it, I just did it, it was hard. I just pulled up.
You're asking me to confess. You have nothing, I don't have to tell you anything at all. Unless.
Just on tour making music. Don't ask me how I did it, I just did it, it was hard.
Hello?
Ho, the things that you've lied about. High heels on my don't
So I just got back from seeing Dune in theaters, and something clicked for me during this movie. Because in all of our rebellion stories, the main characters are teenagers. Like, teenagers are leading the rebellion. And I always thought that was wild until this movie, when I saw how many times dystopian rebellion leaders need to hop up and jump into action. 16, 17-year-old me could have handled that type of activity, but now, at 27, absolutely not. I need a 15-minute warm-up. I need to make sure I've had enough protein, water, fiber. The idea of waking up and immediately jumping up and swinging a sword makes my shoulders hurt. So I've come to the conclusion that if I had ever had to lead a rebellion, teenage me would have done a much better job than 27-year-old me.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Madison, Senator Burr, what is this?
Everybody want to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Great Gatsby people, I have a question for you. So they are turning Great Gatsby into a musical. Again, but this time it's actually going to Broadway. And I was really excited about it, and I was watching some of the clips from it. And something that the creators really wanted to do with it was to expand Daisy's character, and they were talking about giving her, you know, more of a rich inner life and stuff like that, which doesn't sound bad off the bat, but to me, I feel like one of the biggest, I guess, things about Daisy is that she's sort of willingly dumb. She's just is fine with playing that part, and she even talks about her daughter and says that the best thing her daughter could possibly be is a beautiful little fool. And like one of the big, I guess, choices that she has is to choose between Gatsby and Tom, and she ends up choosing Tom because she's not willing to let go of the lifestyle and just the background and to make the change. And it just seemed like she was always sort of shallow purposefully. So now that they're trying to add this extra layer of depth, I just don't know if it makes sense for the character. So I don't know why it's been bothering me so much, but I wanted to hear other people's opinions because I like the idea of giving more to the characters and understanding them better, but in Daisy's case, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Open the door or I'm gonna throw rocks through your windows, you dumb whore.
I will never, ever, ever, ever be depressed again. I will never be depressed again. I'm always going to be Slay, and I'm always going to be sexy. I will never be sad and miserable ever again. Slay forever. I will be Slay forever.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a bunch of scraps.
I left you alone for 5 minutes and you spent $873. You left me alone in a Costco.
Ciao. Anyway, so.
Some days I am just on fire. What can I say?
Why are you acting weird?
I'm the village crazy lady. That's my job.
Writers, I've got terrible news. If you want your book to exist, you actually have to write it. So get off your phone and get back to your manuscript.
It is time. I was protecting Elena. I will always protect Elena. I'm on my way to murder Elena. About Elena, blah, blah, blah. I want Elena gone.
She's the root of all your problems and therefore mine. She's really not that special. She's just a stupid girl. I'm thinking something symbolic. Maybe find a bathtub to drown her in. Full circle kind of thing.
The most dangerous animal on this planet. A violent creature filled with hateful thoughts and a lust for blood. Teeth like razors to suck the meat from your bone. Yes, when all is said and done, she is a killer.
Notice fines like fun.
Notice door keeps shining.
Notice where the lights gone. What we all got in common when the shit's said and done is a dead fucking road cheddar city that we run. Let's start the theme with my eyes grow. Sipping hella lean, smoking hydro. When I hit the returning title.
High heels on my don't just on my
I saw an episode of this podcast that's particularly for artists, and they were talking about this idea of finding your art parents. And their point was that you need to find two artists that you really look up to, that you want to emulate their style without copying. And if you only have one like art parent, you would essentially be creating a clone of them because you'd only want to be them. But where you have two, or maybe three, you have multiple sources that you're pulling from. I think for the most part this was related to painting, but I was thinking of it more in relation to writing, and it took me a while to come to the conclusion of who my writing parents are, or who I would like to be like. But I think I finally figured it out, because one thing that was really coming to mind over and over again is that on top of writing, I really love doing other projects. Like, I'm trying to make my own little book cover business. I really want to learn how to tattoo. I love learning ballet. I like the job that I have now, and I love making YouTube videos. And then it sort of hit me. There's someone who does all that, has their own businesses, and does a bunch of different things, and really focuses on learning and expanding and stuff like that. And it's Hank Green. When he came out with this book, I remember everyone being like, how did you also write a book? Because he already does so many cool things. That's what I want to do. And then for my second one, I realized that I'd been watching Hank on YouTube for so long, and it sort of hit me that my other writing parent would be Christine Riccio. She's the reason that I really started my own YouTube book channel, because I watched her videos all through high school and loved them so much. And she talked a lot in her videos about how one day she wanted to write her own book. And now she's about to release her third one this year, and it's so cool to watch, and I hope I can sort of do the same thing. Writers, artists, creative people, I would love to hear who your art parents are. Please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it.
are 2 books that got me into a reading slump and 2 that got me out. Let me know your own in the comments. So first is Divergent. This was a reading slump of the ages for me. I was 14, obsessed, and I kept reading it over and over and over again. This was during my travel basketball phase, and I had it downloaded on a Nook. And I remember reading this in the car like at least 15 times because I simply could not move on. I tried other books and it took so long for one to catch. Second, you can probably guess, Kingdom of Ash. Because what do you do after this? Nothing. You do nothing. You sit there and sort of marinate in your emotions. Luckily, there is one author I can always count on to get me out of a reading slump, and that is Cassandra Clare. This one particularly got me out of a bad reading slump where I hadn't read a book in probably months. Her books are always fast-paced, really funny, and they have some of the most memorable characters I've probably ever read, and I think that's what helps the most, because a lot of the times when I come out of a slump because of one of her books, it's because I've been waiting for the release and I already know the characters and I know that I love them so much that there's no chance I'm going to put this down once I pick it up. If you have not read Cassandra Clare books yet, please do yourself a favor, they are amazing. And the other book that got me out of a really bad reading slump was Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. I find that when I am having a hard time getting back into reading after, you know, a bad slump, standalones can really do the trick because it's just such a low commitment. And I am always a Veronica Roth fan, and so when I finally picked this up, I was pretty much immediately drawn in, and this has such a unique magic system and a really unique premise because this is sort of the idea of what happens to our teenage revolution heroes once they grow up. If you're in a reading slump, I would really recommend this. It's not super long and it's very different from a lot of the books I've been seeing circulate recently, so I highly recommend. And if you've read Chosen Ones, please let me know in the comments because I feel like I never see anybody talk about this book and it's amazing.
That's a wide stance, my guy. Super solid. No one's gonna tip you over.
I'm a real tough kid, I can handle it. They said, babe, you gotta fake it till you make it, and I did. Lights, camera, and smile, even when you wanna die. He said he loved me all his life, but that life was too short. Breaking down, I hit the floor. All the pieces of me shattered as the crowd was chanting more. I was grinning like I'm winning, I was hitting my marks, 'cause I can do it with a broken heart. And I miss you, but I miss sparkling. I believe I'm still bejeweled when I walk in the room. I can still make the whole place shimmer. And when I meet the band, they ask, do you have a man? I can still say I don't remember. Familiarity breeds contempt, so put me in the basement when I want the penthouse of your heart. Diamonds in my eyes, I polish up real, I polish up real nice. 'Cause I'm a real tough kid, I can handle it. They said, babe, you gotta fake it till you make it, and I did. Lights, camera, and smile, even when you wanna die. He said he loved. I cry a lot, but I am so productive. It's an art.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to process a tremendous amount of insane information.
Now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees. Let's fucking go, baby. Let's go.
Oh my goodness, I love this question. I think.
Is today the day that I cry on camera? It's been a while. It's been a while. Having a dog means constant lint. Why am I breaking out? So rude. Conceal, don't feel, don't let it show. Per usual, I forgot to paint my nails again.
What? Let's start with the one that I just said.
I didn't realize he'd hit 1 million subscribers. Subscribe to Mike's Mike. Wake up. Test. Tracy Wolf. What was that? The blood letter. And I, oh my gosh, it was so annoying. I was like, Jackson, can you go somewhere else? Makes your body appear dead. Excellent. It was so frustrating. Remy's friend, whose name escapes me, called her. I hope they come into play because that would be very interesting. Like, anyway, that's where we left off.
What you doing? What you doing? Where you at? Where you at? Oh, you got plans. You got plans. Don't say that. Shut your trap.
I need to feel something. Harry, can you tell me something that'll piss me off? Boba Fett's better than Mondo. Yep, that'll do it.
You're learning so many important things, and I'm so proud of you.
It's about time you fell in love with something that will love you back. And that, my friends, is house music. It doesn't judge you, and I won't either.
Ever been punched in your motherfucking face? What you say? Oh, you haven't? Alright.
I do not recall that, okay?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Sorry, I have no recommendation of
I do not recall any of that. This Abdul.
I do not
Hakiki? No, I don't recall.
You do recall it?
No, I don't recall that at all.
It's for your mouth. Let me know if you need a bigger piece.
I have to finish the story.
Capta. The Queen is coming.
Very quick, very effective.
Are you in or you out?
What are you talking? In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out.
Okay, well then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Fearless, heroic, authentic, iconic, the greatest of all time.
1, here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell them bring another round, we need plenty more. 2 stepping on the table, she don't need a dance floor. Oh my, good lord. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jay Dale's got a history. There's a party downtown near 5th Street. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy.
I just want the best for you. And I think that you deserve the world.
Thank you.
So that's really all I want.
We're about to find out, honey. We just got started, so I'll let you know.
Oh, what? Wait! Huh? Girl.
How'd that get in there?
'Cause I don't wanna live a la. Should tell my boyfriend what I've been doing. Been thinking of you. They tell my screw him. And if you want me, you gotta put the word in. Go tell your girlfriend.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique.
People get surprised about what I say, but I don't think they realize that I get surprised bad too. I'm just as shocked as you are. 'Cause why would I say that? Why would I say that? I'll find out what I'm gonna say when you do.
Honestly, whatever, I'm down for whatever. We could go see a movie, we could get lunch, we could kill someone. Or, the apple orchard?
Hey, now ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time now. About that time. Turn this thing on out. Now let me see everybody do this. Hey, let's go. Snap your fingers, but do your step. You can do it all by yourself. Let me see you do it. Let me see you do it.
I don't know. I never counted. I am not really a math guy, you know?
Honestly, whatever, I'm down for whatever. We could go see a movie, we could get lunch, we could kill someone. Or, the apple orchard?
Show me the most loved book on your shelf. Here's mine.
Where are the belts for this stuff? Why is no one ready?
She is being so difficult.
Gently, gently.
Will you come down to dinner?
No. Time to reward myself with a very long and disproportionate break.
In a world where nobody wants to be in our world, I bring you fantasy books.
From this day forth, you put your faith in me.
I just want to let you all know that I am halfway through this book, and I am obsessed with it! Now leave us alone so we can be together.
Sometimes I think, and then I forget.
It is disrespectful to her and in turn disrespectful to me. Stop it.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead. Welcome to the Fourth Wing.
Hey book pals, here's my question of the day. What are you currently reading? Here's what I'm currently reading.
No one has made this dramatic of a change yet. No one has made, in my generation, this extreme of a switch.
Expensive to buy? Yes. Expensive to own? Yes. Worth every penny? Absolutely.
Don't put me up a double shot of whiskey. They don't mean Jack Daniels got a history. At the bottom of a bottle, don't miss me. Everybody at the bar, attention.
Don't do anything stupid till I get back.
How can I? You're taking all this stupid with you.
So I leap from the gallows and I levitate down your street. Crash the party like a record scratch as I scream. Who's afraid of little old me?
You're so golden. You're so golden. I'm out of my head and I know that you're scared because hearts get broken. I don't wanna be alone.
I have a question for everybody. Who wants to go to the Four Seasons Orlando?
Me. Genuine ostrich. 3 payments. Oh! Wait, what? I'm just goofing. New boot goofing. Oh!
We won't be doing that. I just finished Golden Sun, and I have a question for the Red Rising people. Please don't spoil the series. But like at this point, I really don't like Mustang. I feel so bad. She's like our main love interest and I just really can't attach to her. And normally for me, if I'm reading a series, the thing that really propels me through a series is the romantic storyline. And at this point, I truly enjoy the plot and I plan to keep reading it whether Darrow even has a love interest or not. But at this point, I'm just like not really enjoying Mustang and it's making me really sad. I guess I don't really know how to word this question because I'm sure their relationship gets better, but I guess like, did you find yourself not really liking Mustang at first and then she grew on you? Or am I just like not vibing for absolutely no reason? Please let me know. The ACOTAR reading order. The overall Sarah J. Maas reading order is like a highly debated topic here on Booktok. I know that a lot of people go to ACOTAR first, so if you want that reading order, that's what I'm gonna do first. But if you wanna know where to read ACOTAR in the general universe of Sarah J. Maas, we'll get into that and some of your options after. So for ACOTAR, your order is ACOTAR, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, A Court of Frost and Starlight, and A Court of Silver Flames. Do you have to read this one? In my personal opinion, you do not have to read this book if you don't want to. This is, I think, lovingly called the Christmas special because not much happens other than celebrating solstice, and I feel like you could read a quick summary of it and not need this book that much. I feel like it's more of a filler between the ACOTAR trilogy kind of wrapping up and going into a broader scope of Nesta, Elaine, and everyone else's story. And we don't know what's next because we continue to wait for book 6. Sarah, you must make haste. Where in the SJM journey should you read ACOTAR? It kind of depends on your preference, so I started with Throne of Glass because I don't think ACOTAR was even out when I started reading Throne of Glass, and that was the right choice for me. In my opinion, I think Throne of Glass is her best series, and so reading it first sort of made sure that I loved Sarah's books, and it's kind of what helped me propel through harder areas in her other books, specifically Crescent City. I had a really hard time getting into it, but knowing that I love the way that Sarah tells stories, it made it so much easier for me to just want to keep pushing through those areas when things got slow. But romantically, Throne of Glass is a slow burn. It's YA until you get to the final book, Kingdom of Ash, at which point I feel like it does transfer over to more of a new adult fantasy vibe, which I feel like makes sense because at that point, I started Throne of Glass when I was 15, 16, and then I ended it when I was 22, so I feel like that progression made sense. But if you're already an adult and you're more into romantasy and you read adult books more anyways, that's when I feel like ACOTAR could be a better lead-in for you because it is pretty quick, especially the first 2 books. I don't think there's a lot of pacing issues, and I think it can be easy to get into. So if you don't have the patience for a slow burn yet, maybe do ACOTAR first and then get into Sarah's writing style and then move to Throne of Glass. You should not read Crescent City first. I'm kidding, kind of. In my opinion, of Sarah's series, it is, I feel like weakest series isn't the right term, but that's what I'm gonna go with right now. It's still good, but if I had gone into this without my background understanding of Sarah's books, I think it would have been so much harder for me to get into this, stick with it, and really understand the characters. But if you truly hate like medieval vibes, which I feel like is what more we get in Throne of Glass and ACOTAR, just kind of like old, no technology, that type of stuff. If you don't like that, then maybe go for this one first. I would just take a break after reading it and then go back and read at least ACOTAR, if not ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, before going into Crescent City too, because some things overlap and you don't want to miss out on those little Easter eggs that she leaves for us. And that's the order. I would love to hear what order you read Sarah J. Maas in, especially if you read Crescent City first. I would love to know what the impression was for people going into that because it is really intense. And if you have any questions, I will do my absolute best to answer them for you. Come with me to turn my book cover business with no revenue and almost no traffic into a, hopefully, thriving business in 12 weeks. A while back, I started making book covers like these with the hope of selling them and turning them into a business. I have not given it the time and attention that it needs to really become a thing, but that ends today because I'm starting another 12-week year. The 12-week year is in reference to this book. I've used the 12-week year before, and I had a lot of really good results from it. I started learning how to tattoo. I wrote a draft of my novel. And I started my website and got a lot of mock-ups done. But running this website costs me $60 a month, and I'm not really willing to keep paying it for something that is not making me money back. I love this idea, but I don't want to be unrealistic about it. So I'm going to be putting in a lot of work for the next 12 weeks. And if you would like to follow along and see if it works and I can actually get this thing to be a real thing other than just a portfolio for stuff that I enjoy, feel free to follow along. I would love to have you here. Every ounce of emotional support is truly appreciated. This time I found a 12-week template on YouTube that this girl made, and it is amazing. It's like already set up. So I recently went in and filled out everything that I need to do each day of every week for the next 12 weeks to hopefully reach all of the tactics that I think will really help get some traction on the site. My main task today was to get some covers printed. My sister-in-law is really sweet and she ordered a like custom set, which I was really excited to make. So I went and got those printed at FedEx today. Right here. And I'm getting to FaceTime some friends from college tonight, so I made today a little bit of an easier day, even though it's my day one. I want to add the link to the site to all of the YouTube videos that I have and film this TikTok, so check. My goal is sort of to keep you updated as I go as sort of an accountability thing for me. And if you're trying to start any business related thing, especially if you're a book businessy person, I would love to hear what projects you're working on so I'm not in this alone. And of course, if you would like to check out the site, it is katsbycovers.com. Hoping to add a bunch of new designs soon and hopefully a physical print option. It's something I'm trying to figure out during this time. And if you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching and hanging around. Because unfortunately, my coworker didn't really do all that much. Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I'm trying to turn my zero revenue book cover shop into hopefully a thriving business in 12 weeks. I'm using the 12-week year template, and as you can see, we're kind of behind. Partially because I needed to do a final edit and thumbnail and upload and all that good stuff for a YouTube video. But I have at least managed to get the hardest part of the day done, which was going to be cranking out a bunch of new book covers. Luckily, they're just an ombre kind of set that'll hopefully look really cute with contemporary novels. So I'm now just at the part of trying to make mock-ups for them. This is a sort of rainbow set that I was working on, but I've also got a bunch of monochrome sets and I've got all the different sizes and stuff, so I'm finishing that up. Then it will just be a race to the finish line to see if I can get everything I planned for today done. Please send help. All right, all of the color mock-ups are done. I'm planning to put these on the site until I can actually get them physically printed and get some product photos. Now we are on to Pinterest. Are done. I'm hoping that the videos will show like a preview. I'm not super familiar with Pinterest yet, so hoping for the best. So next up, I want to make a lead magnet to put on some of my YouTube videos to get people on the mailing list. So I'm gonna put that together. It's really simple. I'm gonna just test out and see how it does and then hopefully refine the design later on. Okay, this little lead magnet is up and running. We are still not done because these are the custom book covers that I've been working on. But if you can see the edges, these books I thrifted, and this is not really going with the color aesthetic that I'm looking for. So my plan is to actually paint the covers. I know that might be a criminal offense, but I want them white so that on the edges where they are peeking out from behind the covers, they don't look green and blue and whatever other colors we've got. These are looking a lot better. They're gonna have to dry overnight though before I can get to the other sides. So until I go to bed, I'm probably going to be looking for a couple classics that I can use, since I'm hoping that I can use them to kind of get book covers without needing actual books that would be really expensive. So I'll keep you updated if that is possible or not. Turns out that making a KDP book is a smidge harder than anticipated. My goal for this upcoming 12 weeks was to work on my book covers business and figure out a way to make a physical copy. Right now on the website, the only option is to print them yourselves. And I really want to be able to offer pre-printed stuff. And my thought process was that I could just upload on KDP and just use Creative Commons books and then get those delivered with the covers on them without needing to go through a printer like FedEx or Staples. They're a bit more expensive than I would like, and they have to be manually cut. And so I was hoping that this is an option, so that if you can see the book covers back there, they're like swords. I could put those on the outside of a classic that is, fully legal to print and stuff, and then take the covers off. But this is not as simple as I thought. Observe the many tabs that are open right now. I'm using the 12-week year template to try and complete all this stuff on time, but getting all of these up in a single day, I think I overestimated myself. Luckily, I have Saturday as a catch-up day for pretty much all of the goals I have for this week, and for the most part, we've been able to stick to a lot of the big things that needed to get done this week, but right now, this is the enemy. I'm actually getting to go to a play tonight, so the idea of getting it all done today to stay on track is a little far-fetched, but wish me luck this weekend, because I think I'm going to be in the throes of KDP. And if you have published through Kindle Direct, please let me know your experience and or any tips, because I'm very intimidated right now. I will just keep clicking on links and hope for the best.
Isn't that sweet? I guess so. I'm working late, 'cause I'm a singer. Oh, you look so cute, wrapped around my finger. My twisted humor, making love so often. My honeybee, come and get this pollen. So glad you
It's week 2 of my 12-week year, trying to turn my idea of a book cover business into a real thing. Example of said book covers. And I wanted to share my week 2 goals with you. First up was to finish some stuff with a custom set that I did for my sister-in-law, and I actually managed to get all that done yesterday, which was awesome. I wanted to work on some new book cover designs, sort of like these, but in more, I guess, interior design friendly colors, like neutrals and stuff. And I wanted to add those designs to KDP, but also different print-on-demand options that would have the right sizes of book covers. That has turned out to be significantly more difficult than I thought. So I'm actually a little bit behind on that portion from my goals of working on that last week. So I'm going to hopefully be catching up this week in that arena. I also wanted to figure out how to section out my site. I feel like the book covers I'm making are sort of separated into 3 sections, where they could be fandom, just general reading vibes, and then interior design. I'd like to have that on the homepage so people can first pick their vibe and then figure out if they want to do the digital file or dust jacket delivery option. I'm not super duper tech savvy, especially in this way, so that's going to take a little probably YouTube tutorialing to figure that one out. And then last, I wanted to add a graphic to my website, sort of making it easier to understand the print process and the easiest way to go about it if you're gonna print your own book covers. And then other than that, I have all of the social media related stuff. I just finished filming the YouTube update, and I am currently working on this one. So thanks for being here. And send me all of your best vibes when it comes to print on demand, because whew. I just finished cleaning my whole house, and you want to know why? Because I'm procrastinating. Whenever I'm putting off work, I tend to clean the house because I think it feels productive and it makes me feel like I'm not procrastinating. That is not the truth. So I'm going to try and actually do what's on my to-do list for today.
Can't really mug on your face.
Throwing Christiana's phone off the balcony.
There's people that are dying.
Days, I'll talk to you soon. Subscribe to Eve Cornwell. And
congratulations, tours across the world. Thanks for choosing Ingram Spark.
So I think I figured out at least sort of how to set up a print-on-demand book with the book covers that I want on them. Now to just repeat the process for every design in every size. But for me, usually the hardest part isn't necessarily just like putting in the work. It's usually figuring out how to do the work, like the learning part of it is what causes me to procrastinate the most. So I'm feeling pretty good about just doing this process a lot tomorrow, since tomorrow is Saturday, and I should be able to spend most of the day working on this, I hope. But I'm about to take a break for tonight, so instead of continuing to work on this, which is going to take like several hours, I'm going to try and work on a graphic for my website explaining how people can print their own book covers if they don't want to pay for the pre-printed option. And then I think I'm going to call it a night. I even look tired. It's week 3 of trying to turn my book covers business idea into a real thing, and I have some exciting news. So yesterday I had a really good conversation because a long time ago, right when I first thought of this idea, I wanted to get a printer that would allow me to print book covers, like the full size. And in order to do that, the printer that I wanted was going to be like $2,000. And that's just like not an investment that I can make at the moment. After having a conversation about like printing it at home instead of trying to use some sort of print-on-demand service, I was like, I'm just gonna go look one more time. And I think I found a printer. The ink is already here, the printer is not, but it's an Epson Workforce 7820, which means that I could print on the type of paper that I need, and I could print a 13 by 19 size, which is pretty close to what I need. So normally the width that I'm using is 22 inches, but a $170 printer that I found on sale versus a $2,000 to $3,000 printer, those 3 inches just don't seem quite that much. That difference would be 1.5 inches on each side of these flaps. So if this was the custom cover, the print would have to be cut off here. So I ordered the paper that would go in the printer along with the printer. So I'm gonna try and wrap it and see, like, does it pop off? Is there an issue with it? Because if there's not, and I'm able to use this printer instead of going to a professional printer or trying to figure out a print-on-demand option, then that would be amazing. Math doesn't always make sense in my brain, but if I'm estimating correctly, being able to use this printer and not have to pay for like a FedEx printing or a print-on-demand situation, it would cut the cost of like a book cover set to like 1/4 of what I would need to charge, which would be amazing because my goal is to make this like a really affordable option for people. I don't want it to be like super expensive, so keep your fingers crossed. Also, this weekend I finally figured out how to do collections on the website so that I could separate them out into different vibes, which was definitely a goal for a long time. So that is also exciting. Stay tuned to watch me figure out how to connect another wireless printer to my computer, because that did not go super well the first time, did it? Also, I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers so I can put my website in my bio. So if you found this interesting and you want to see a bunch of upcoming book cover designs, I would really appreciate the follow. Goodbye! You guys, I actually have an official sale. That's so exciting. Thank you, Alexandra. If you happen to see this, you made my day. My week. You could have been getting down to this sick beat. My ex-man brought his new girlfriend. She's like, oh my god, but I'm just gonna shake it to the fella. I have a question for all of my reader people. What is the best reading related gift you've ever gotten or given to someone? Really looking to beef up the blog section of my website. There's really not that much there. And I thought that a best gifts for readers list would be really fun, but I didn't have like quite enough to make a whole article that really felt substantial enough to like try to get people to read. So if you have a good gift or you've been eyeing something online that you think would be such a good gift to give a reader or get as a reader, I would love to hear about it and add it to my little list. I'm back from vacation. Do you know what that means, Beanie? We get to try out the printer today. Beanie. Now you want to hang out with me. Before we left for vacation, I had my husband drag this thing up here because it's massive and heavy. But now that I'm looking at my office, I have no idea where I'm gonna put it. I already have the normal printer, all of the bookshelves, all the tattoo stuff, and then filming equipment, piano, desk, and walking desk. There's literally not an inch of space for this. And if I am gonna use this to print book covers and stuff, it's not like it's ideal to just have this on the floor and then also have me like laying the book covers on the floor. I vacuum as much as I possibly can, but I do have a golden retriever and she's just, the floors are not clean. It's okay though. So I think I have a solution, but it requires carrying the printer back down the stairs. No freaking kidding. Hello. So I tried to put her on top of this table, but the glass made a noise that I didn't love. So she's down here hiding in a little cubby hole. Because honestly, I don't think this table could actually support the weight. It's pretty old, and I think it would just honestly crumble underneath it.
It will take 10 minutes.
It printed so fast I couldn't even catch it on camera. After an hour-long fight. Did you click on settings? Night 2 of fighting with my printer, and my dog is trying to make me feel better about it. I've been struggling with the settings to get it to print a book cover on a large piece of paper like this. I'd been really excited about the printer, so having issues was making me pretty disheartened, and you can see me going back and forth with the YouTube video trying to figure it out. Eventually, I did figure out the settings to make it print full scale on the page, so you can see that happening here of the printer finally working and finally getting past all the error messages. I was so excited to get the first test print officially underway, and you can see me cheering through the exhaustion. I ended up buying the wrong size paper cutter, awesome for me, and so scissors it was. Also, look at how the colors turned out. I was so excited. It wasn't streaky and it was super bright. It was super late at night while I was doing this, but I was so determined to get this cut out. If you saw my last video about the printer, you know that I was worried about these side flaps. The printer doesn't make it quite as long as a traditional cover. Also, look at how cute this tattoo is that I'm working on. Back to business. I went ahead and folded the cover. This is Water Lilies by Monet, so I'm hoping to eventually make the full set so that it looks like the painting. And I folded in the tabs here so you can see that the flaps aren't quite as long, but I think they turned out okay. This was when I realized that there was a bleed issue with the printer, so I'm gonna have to figure that out, but I think I know how to do it. So overall, I'm pretty excited with this as a test print. I'm so happy with how the colors turned out. Honestly, I was just admiring it for a little while, and I'm hoping to try the rest of the set this weekend. Follow to see the results. I'm gonna drive all night. I'm gonna drive all night. I think the apple's rotten right to the core. From all the things we've done, from all the apples blown before. I split the apple down symmetrical lines. So what I find is kinda scary. Makes me just wanna drive.
gotten to the point, you should know this too, that...
You see how I get off of work? Very demure, very cutesy. Makeup, still intact. Hair, still very nice. Outfit, no stains. Very demure, very mindful.
It's week 6 of trying to turn my book covers business idea into a real thing using the 12-week year. And today we're going to print a lot of book covers. Partially because I need to catch up on making more mock-ups like these, and then partially because I want to see how many cover sets I can print until the printer runs out of ink. This is mainly to help with me figuring out the price point of the actual covers, and also because I'm just very curious. I didn't film many updates for week 5 because I was mostly working on SEO stuff for the website. I've now got a few more blog posts up that will hopefully assist in bringing some traffic to the website. And I've also been working on putting together a sort of progress video that's going to be a little more in depth than like these short videos I can make to go on the YouTube channel. I've got a sort of Swan Lake type of duology, I guess, of covers. I'll also finally get to use my new paper slicer. I originally bought the wrong size paper slicer, and so the new size is finally in and I can stop hand cutting everything, which will be so nice. So I'm gonna speed up some of the process so you can see it, but you don't have to stick around for 4 hours like I'm gonna have to, and then show you the finished products. That didn't take a ton of time because I feel like the blue, there's so much blue in these that it's probably draining it really fast. Why are you like this? Everything is fine. A man on YouTube said I just need to shake the ink cartridges. If that's it, I'm gonna lose my mind. I can't believe it. That was the problem. It was a bit of a battle, but we're ready to start cutting all these out. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes you gotta step back from the world and get lost in a book.
This week, a hot new bombshell enters the villa.
Don't call me up, I'm going out tonight. Feeling good now you're out of my life. Don't wanna talk about us, gotta leave it behind. One drink and you're out of my mind.
Yes. You can either look at the screen or you can look at the food, but you cannot do both. I will link it somewhere about. Today we find out just how much the Epson workforce can print. Thank you for asking. I would love to show you how I make these. So first we want to pick out our design. I wanted to try out a retro pattern and I absolutely love this. So I went ahead and drew sort of my own version of it. And then we'll want to put that into Canva. So as far as the measurements go ahead and measure the height of the books that you want to cover. And if you would like to measure the individual spines, that will give you the absolutely most accurate measurement and make sure everything lines up perfectly. But in my experience, an about measurement turns out fine. I find 1.8 inches to be a very good width, but if you're going to be covering, maybe thinner books, you might want to size down a bit. And if you're going to be covering like The Lord of the Rings, maybe size up. These are the books I've picked out to cover. So they're the 8.5 inch height, and I'm probably gonna do 1.8 inches for the spine size. So to do that in Canva, you would go to Create a Design and Custom Size. I've used this size pretty recently, so I will go ahead and have it make a new one in this size. You'll come over to the sidebar and click Uploads and choose your file. So here we have our flowers, and you'll want to upsize until it's just the perfect height of the canvas. Luckily with Canva, it's sort of like auto clicks, so you'll be able to find it really easy, and then just go ahead and center it by seeing that purple line in the center here. So the center is obviously going to be your spine, but if you don't want this weird white cutoff, what I like to do is click it and then just copy, and then you'll just make sure that it's selected and come up here to flip. And then you'll do the same on the other side. Flip, flip horizontal, and then line it up over here. So this is the first book cover with the center of your image being the spine. Now we're gonna add in a stand-in spine. So you'll wanna come over here to Elements and add a rectangle. And then to make sure it's the right width, go to Position, and I'm gonna do that 1.8 width. And the height, you'll just have it the same as the book cover. Go ahead and make sure it's centered by looking for that purple line. And then we're gonna copy all this and move it to a new page. We're going to take all of this and move it over so that it lines up with the next spine. And you'll move it down. Then we're gonna take our mock spine and move it to the center of the board. So we'll repeat this process again, selecting everything, copying, creating a new page, and adding it. Make sure everything's selected and move the spine over to match up with the old one. Now, because we started with our image in the center, we don't want to just keep going one direction. We need to switch and go the other direction. So to do that, you'll come back up to your very first artboard, copy everything, and go down and make a new page like we had before. But instead of going to the right, we're going to go to the left. We'll keep this center in mind, make sure everything is highlighted, and scoot it over to the left. So you can see that this sort of lines up with the other spine, and then move this one back to the center and repeat the process. So now we have 5 for all 5 books I'm planning to cover. This is where I usually add watermarks for the book covers that I sell. I do recommend putting something on your spine just so it's easier to line up. You can put the titles of the books, but just know that some printers, if you're getting it professionally printed, they might have issue with it, specifically like really big names like Harry Potter, particularly anything Disney. Just keep that in mind. They might not print it. You can also just put numbers on the spine if you know you're doing like a series or something like that. And since we don't want our mock spines to actually print out in the design, we'll go ahead and turn them transparent so that you can't see them at all. And these are our finished products. So you can see how the image slightly shifts to accommodate for those different book spines. And I think the best way to do this is to save each page individually, just in case you have any issues with zip files. If you're going to a professional printer, they will help you like make these individual posters that you're gonna print. but since I'm doing it here at home, I went ahead and made a PDF file of all of them so they'll print right in a row out of my printer. When you go to print, what I usually ask them to do is to give me the thinnest paper possible while still holding the ink and not looking streaky. I think the paper that I use for my home printer is like 80-pound paper, and I personally like the matte. I think it does fold a little bit better as well. So I will go ahead and print these out so you can see the final results. So wherever you put your watermark, you'll just line that up in the middle of the spine. I also sell book covers like these on my website, so I will leave it here if you would like to check it out. Come write a novel with me in 10 minutes. I used to be a mystery novel ghostwriter, and the other day I opened up the first ghostwriting novel I ever wrote, and reading back over it reminded me of like how much fun writing is. I do have an urban fantasy work in progress going, but I've set it aside for a bit while I'm trying to start up my own little book covers business. There is simply not enough time in the day, but I really do miss writing, and so I figured it would be worth working on like a fun story, something that I never really plan on publishing, just to kind of flex that muscle because it's been a while, and to add a little bit of that writing joy back into my life until I'm at a point that I can pick back up with my more like serious writing projects. I wrote a version of this story a long time ago. It is a YA romance about the zombie apocalypse. So I'm going to try to write 10 minutes every single day working on this story that's just for fun. And then I'll post up what I got written at the end if you want to pause and read it. Typos and all, so just brace yourself. I'm going to put 10 minutes on the timer and let's do it. 408 words. I'm used to a little bit more, but I'll take it.
Riding on the Lord of the North was Aiden.
I'm writing a book that I am never going to publish. I'm taking some time away from my more serious manuscript while I'm working on some other projects, but I really do miss like the joy of writing in my daily life. And so every day I'm doing 10-minute writing sprints just to kind of keep the creativity going. So I'm rewriting a zombie apocalypse story that I started in college. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be fun. I got 406 words done in 10 minutes yesterday, so I'm gonna try and beat that. And I'll post up the results, typos and all, in case you wanna read it. Let's go. 564 words is not too shabby. I got one of those little microphones. I'm kind of obsessed. I did not get this microphone solely to do Dobs of the Day, but it was part of the consideration for the purchase. However, I work from home, so this will be the outfit part of the Dob most of the time. For my drink, I do have coffee in the cutest little mug. And this week I was doing a reread of Shatter Me because Tahara Mafi announced her new book, which I am so excited about. I feel like a lot of people are kind of just now discovering this series, but if you were around when it was originally only a trilogy, and then she announced that she was going to be writing a whole nother set of books to go with it, it was such a fun, amazing time. And then now she's like, oh, I'm just going to keep going. I wonder if we're getting like 3 more whole books. We're gonna have James all grown up. It's just very exciting. One of my tasks at work today did not require me to think words in my mind, so I was able to audiobook while I was working, which was great. So I finished this up today. This is my 3rd or 4th reread. If you can't tell, this copy she's pretty beat up, but it never disappoints. These books are so good. I loved seeing Unhinged Warner again. I loved meeting Kenji again for the first time. It was so wonderful. Just heard that they're going to be doing a Twilight animated series, which I'm very excited for. But you know what would make an amazing animated series? Shatter Me. Someone get me on the phone with Netflix. again. 10-minute writing sprint time. I've been challenging myself to write 10 minutes a day every day as a way to kind of like keep the joy of writing in my life / like not let the fiction muscle languish while I'm working on other projects. So I'm writing a just for fun zombie apocalypse young adult romance. I always post up what I've written directly after, typos and all, in case you want to read it. And let's get to it. Clocking in at 582 words. Me and the microphone are back for another daub of the day. My drink is water from Sam's, and I am so incredibly dehydrated as I make this because I don't have my emotional support water bottle today. They issued like a pretty serious water warning very close to where I live, like don't shower in it, don't boil in it, it won't help, that type of water warning. So even though I don't think I'm in the affected area, I'm like very close to it. So we're just not taking chances of accidentally poisoning myself. But I was too lazy to like wash my massive water cup. I keep forgetting to drink this. This is like how much I've had all day. It's 4 p.m. Outfit of the day. It's my Y'all Fest t-shirt. I volunteered 1 year and then I went and just watched a bunch of the panels the next year. I think this was a year 2 purchase for me. I used to live in South Carolina, so like going to Y'all Fest in Charleston wasn't insanely out of reach for me. The year that I was a volunteer, I did get to handle Veronica Ross' name tag. I did almost cry. The next year I got to get one of my books signed in person, and like there were so many like things I wanted to tell her about like how much her books mean to me. I truly couldn't even speak. I was so starstruck. Divergent was like my whole teenagerhood, so I just like I couldn't even speak to her. And then like the booktubers came strolling in. I think it was Christine, Jessie, and Tasha, and I just like I felt like I was surrounded by celebrities the whole day. I turned around, Cassandra Clare is getting closed into her like dark tinted SUV. It was absolutely wild. Shadow Me has been the book of the day like all week for me. First of all, because I'm a slow reader. Second of all, because I finished it yesterday and then recorded my full length reread review today. These really do have some of the absolute best covers. Everyone just don't pay attention to the original cover with the girl in the dress. This was a much better choice. If you've ever been to Y'all Fest, let me know, particularly 2018 and 2019. I don't know if it's in the cards for me this year, but like I really want to go again. We just got our 3rd ever like book covers order, and this is the first time it's like a physical order. The other 2 were the digital copy files and stuff, and so this is the first one that I'm actually gonna get to like print out and package up and send to someone. I'm so excited. Yay. Good morning. It's time for one of the best parts of the day. 10-minute writing sprint time. I write as fast as I can for 10 minutes on a no-pressure, young adult romance, zombie apocalypse novel that I do not plan on publishing. Just to keep the good vibes and to make sure that writing stays fun, especially while I'm working on some bigger projects. I have a work meeting in 12 minutes, so let's go. Welcome back to another daub of the day. For today's drink, I have coffee per usual with potentially the best oat milk caramel creamer I've ever found. I bought it on a whim for brunch, and now it's probably my best purchase of the month. Cheers. For the outfit, we have sweats. Hello, work from home. And a knee ice pack. We are going to the doctor tomorrow. It is an orthopedic surgeon. Very demure, very mindful. And I can't show you my book because she is inaudible on my phone. But I am currently reading the second Mistborn book, Well of Ascension. This is my second Brandon Sanderson book, but after reading the first Mistborn book, I'm pretty sure I will probably want to read all of his books. So I'm really looking forward to where we go in this next part of the series. Have a lovely day. time for the 10-minute writing challenge, and I fear that I have made a grave mistake. All morning I have been listening to the second Mistborn audiobook, and I have now found that Brandon Sanderson is one of those authors that makes you think, why do I try to write? Like, they are just so good that it's hard to even imagine writing a book at that level. Among this list is Neil Shusterman, Cassandra Clare, Pierce Brown, many an author. So that did wonders for my confidence heading into this. But the writing sprint must be written, so wish me luck. I haven't had coffee yet. Welcome back to yet another Dob of the Day. I actually love filming these. I think it's because of the microphone, but having a good time. Today my drink is an extra amount of coffee, 14 ounces, because it's gonna be that type of day. This is the fit. Work from home chic. Featuring the ice pack again. It is doctor visit day, so we're hopefully going to find out what's actually wrong. I'm a workout type of person, so hopefully it won't take long to heal because I feel like I am losing it. My book of the day is once again the audiobook of the second Mistborn book, Well of Ascension. To anybody who has read this series, do the Kandra ever get any less creepy? For those who haven't read the series, there's a creature in the Mistborn series called a Kandra that can absorb dead bodies to take on their likeness. I guess it's spooky season now, so that is appropriate, but at the same time, every time I read about these creatures, they make my skin crawl. That's all. Goodbye. Some more writing music, and I'm interested if y'all have any recommendations, or like if you happen to have lots of writing playlists, please feel free to send me your Spotify. I like to listen to music while I'm writing, but I have been like kind of uninspired in the music area for like a while, and then today I found a new song that I know I'm gonna be obsessed with, and I'm gonna listen to it on repeat for like days on end, and then I'm gonna hate it. And I burn through music really quickly like that. So I'd love to hear what you're listening to when you're writing, because I really need to beef up my playlist. Dance with me, baby. Okay. Can I write 1,000 words in 10 minutes? No, are you insane? But can I write 600 words in 10 minutes? Maybe. I've been writing for 10 minutes a day every day on a zombie apocalypse young adult romance novel that I don't plan on publishing, it's just for fun, but I do try to churn out as many words as possible. I've been in the 500s almost every time, and last time I think I got like 570 something, so today we're going for 600. Let's go! Welcome back to Dob of the Day. For my drink, I have Kiwi Strawberry Propel. Gatorade, please sponsor me. For the outfit, I have a shacket, and of course, the trusty ice pack. Now, for those of you following the saga, I am getting an MRI on Wednesday. The running theories are a meniscus tear, or my kneecap being off track. It feels excellent, I can assure you. For my book, I have something a little bit different. The only book I might ever be able to finish in an hour. A book tattoo design. I am not a tattoo artist. Do not take what I do to be correct. But I am learning on fake skin, and it's super fun, and so today I'm doing a book design. I'll show you the design in a second, and then I'm probably going to do some sort of time-lapse situation for my next video if you would like to see it completed. Isn't she cute? Welcome back to 10-minute writing sprint time. Yesterday, I managed to write a little over 600 words in 10 minutes, which is like, that's pretty good for me. Not sure if we'll do that again, but my internet has been going in and out every like 15-20 seconds
since this morning. So who knows how long this 10-minute timer is actually going to last. We could be here till midnight. I will be keeping an eye on the regular clock just in case, but if I get a couple extra minutes because of some internet issues, I might take it. Per usual, I will be posting the results at the end of the video in case you want to follow along in a young adult zombie apocalypse romance novel. My rule for these writing sprints is that it does not have to be good, it just has to be fun. Let's go! Welcome back to 10-minute writing sprint time, the part of the show where Larry sings a silly song. The part of the day where I write for 10 minutes as fast as I can on a "It's okay for being." My dog sees my husband outside. Anyways, I'm spending those 10 minutes a day writing a young adult romance zombie apocalypse novel. I don't plan on publishing it, I just want it as a fun project that can keep me writing while I'm working on other projects. At the end of every session, I post up what I've written in case you want to follow along, and let's go! Welcome back to Dop of the Day. For my drink, I have a gallon of coffee. If you don't know, I'm trying to start a little book covers business example. And so I was working on stuff for that from like 10 a.m. to midnight last night, and I am tired. However, there is more to do, so I'm just gonna be carrying her around all day. This is the fit. This is my first time wearing this bodysuit. I just got it. My sister-in-law does content creation, and she works a lot with Pink Lily, which is where this is from. What can I say? I have been influenced. For the book of the day, I am still on Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, and I'll tell you why. I feel like the main reason I'm going so slow is because of the new season of Dance Moms that just came out. I love Dance Moms. And so I've been watching that a lot. Like, I'm watching the new season again for a second time, but also that has spurred on in me to go back and revisit the normal Dance Moms again. And so normally when I would listen to an audiobook, I've been just running that in the background. I just absolutely love that show. I know how toxic it is, but it's so good. If you've watched the new season of Dance Moms, please weigh in. Who's your new favorite girl? Or better yet, who's your new favorite mom? I think all the girls are like wildly talented. I think overall they're missing the team aspect that we saw with the, original cast, but their skill level is just like so high. It's crazy. The moms absolutely crack me up. I don't know if I have a favorite, but I do think the way that Domenica and Gina's mom, is her name Jin? I can't remember, but the way they go at it in certain episodes is just like, I know that some of it's manufactured, but oh my gosh. The drama.
The whole world looks.
This is kind of an awkward video for me to make, but here we go. I am doing a giveaway / I have a favor to ask. So first for the giveaway. If you have been following me here for a little while, you might know that I am trying to start a book covers business here. I'll try to add video of a couple extra sets that I've made so you can kind of see the full range of designs and stuff that I've been working on. And I would like to give away 3 sets. My goal in doing this is that I'm trying to build this business and make it like a real thing. And my goal is to send these sets out, hopefully in exchange for an honest review of what you think, and if you're comfortable, a picture of the book covers on your bookshelf. As much as I love the product photos that I've been able to make, seeing them on other people's bookshelves I think would really give an extra boost to the images and stuff that I have been putting on my website and on the Etsy shop and all of those things. I don't know how to do this. That's my offer. If you'd like a set for free, I will put a link in my bio. I'm giving away 3 sets, and I'll be drawing the winners on Sunday, September 29th. I'll post a video of it up here. What else do you do when you're giving giveaways? So yeah, of course I'm not going to force anything. If you win the product and you don't want to do a review, you don't want to send pictures, that's okay. I'm not basing the winner based off that. I'm going to do it random, but I wanted to be upfront with my goal about that. I think that's it. Bye.
How could you do this, babe?
everyone! It's my birthday!
Welcome back to 10-minute writing sprint time. The fact that half of the results for searches that come up when you search for 10-minute timers are cat themed is like my favorite thing. This one is adorable. Oh my gosh. I don't know when you're watching this, but it is currently Friday night and I still have several hours of video editing to go. The tank is running a little bit empty, but if I can write at least like 360 words, we will break 7,000 words in our document. We must celebrate the little things. I'm currently writing a young adult romance zombie apocalypse novel just for fun, and I do it in these 10-minute writing sprints. My motto is that it does not have to be good, it just has to be fun. And if you would like to read the story, I always post up what I've written during that sprint after the video. Let's go! How many words can I write in 10 minutes? It's time to find out because it is 10-minute writing sprint time. Moment for the timer. How cute. This is the part of the day where I work on a young adult romance zombie apocalypse novel in 10-minute writing sprints. I don't really have any plans on publishing it, so this is sort of a way for me to like just have fun with writing while I'm working on some bigger projects. As always, I will post up what I've written at the end of the video in case you want to follow along, and let's go! My drink, finally. Friends, Alani is on sale at Sam's. I'm gonna see if I can get you a nice. Gotta love that sound. I feel like I should tell you this is like my first energy drink in 3 or 4 months. The flavor of this is so good, but at the same time, I feel like, you know how sometimes you can associate flavors with like feelings? This is what life and energy tastes like to me. For my outfit, I work from home. Once again, featuring the blue light glasses and the knee ice pack. We are going to the doctor tomorrow. They moved my doctor's appointment up 2 weeks. Last week, I got screamed at for 30 minutes by an MRI machine, and now the doctor's gonna hopefully be able to see what the problem actually is. Wish me luck, because I'm really sick of this, to be honest. But at least I got this cute new accessory out of it. For my book, I am still reading Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. Not only is it a long book, I keep getting distracted by reality TV. I think in my last stop of the day, I'd been talking about how much Dance Moms I'd been watching with the new season and stuff. We have now moved on to that mom talk show. Y'all. It's wild. And it's so good. Like, I actually truly care about each person in the cast. That is so rare in reality TV shows. And then also, like, these women are influencers and obviously very good at their jobs. But now they're on TV and I keep seeing all this content about people watching the show, and then they're going and they're trying to emulate these women's styles and stuff like that because, like, they're all so beautiful. I mean, I never considered hair extensions until 2 weeks ago. I also just started Dancing with the Stars. It's just a slow-moving reading process, but I think it's just because I'm, like, in a very intense reality TV section of my life. I haven't gotten into Golden Bachelorette yet. I feel like I needed a recovery after the last Bachelorette season. If y'all saw Jen's season, truly intense. I know I usually like just talk about books, but if y'all are into reality television, let's chat. Bye.
Genuinely, how are you doing today?
I'm exhausted, but I'm good. Thank you.
Good.
welcome back to 10-minute writing sprint time. If you're new to the series, this is when I write for as fast as I can for 10 minutes every day on a young adult romance zombie apocalypse novel that I'm writing for fun while I'm working on some bigger projects. I have a feeling this timer is going to give me some anxiety. I like roller coasters, but this seems kind of intense. As always, I will post up what I wrote during this session at the end of the video in case you want to follow along, and let's go. I have a query for you. I've been down a rabbit hole today of YouTube videos talking about how to make better YouTube videos. I don't know if I would say that I feel inspired, but I at least feel motivated. I mostly just fangirl about books on there, and I've been making some videos about like the process of trying to start a book covers business. I am doing a giveaway in the link in my bio, by the way, if you want to check it out. Really interested in like what other people are interested in watching. I would like to pitch a few ideas at you, and if you could give me any type of insight or ideas of what you like, what you wouldn't like, that would be so amazing. My first one, which I think would be really fun, it would just take probably some research and more scripting than normal for me. It'd be something like what reality TV teaches us about writing stories, like what makes a character addicting to follow, I guess, if that makes sense. I am going to be a beta reader for the first time in like a month or so. I have a friend from college who wrote a book, and I like get to read it and help and stuff like that, and I'm really excited about it. So maybe I document that journey. Obviously, I'm not going to like spoil her story or anything like that, but maybe like just what I learn along the way doing that. I also have a pass to masterclass right now, so I was thinking about maybe like reviewing some of the writing classes that they have. I mean, like obviously they're going to be amazing, but maybe just like videos about takeaways and like kind of small things that someone who doesn't have time to watch the whole masterclass might be interested in. Also, if you've been following the saga of my like knee injury, it is a meniscus tear. There will be surgery in November. The running theory is that this maybe came from weightlifting and the style of training that I was doing. I used to do kickboxing a long time ago, and I really kind of want to get back into that if I'm not going to be doing weights as much. And I thought it would maybe be kind of fun to like record the journey to becoming a Valkyrie and like what kind of that process looks like, because I'm having to pull back from my normal exercise for a couple months, and I feel like maybe the rebuilding period will be more fun if I can kind of turn it into a video or some sort of game and challenges and stuff like that. I'm probably going to do this one. I don't know if this is necessarily like reading related. I was obsessed with The Fault in Our Stars, and I kind of fell into the world of John and Hank Green and Vlogbrothers and all that, and I've been watching their videos probably for like over a decade, and they have done so much stuff, opening businesses and doing charities and making events and like the origin of VidCon and like all this stuff that they've done. And I kind of want to make like, you know, that meme of the guy with all of the yarn on the wall and he's like tracking out something. I want to do that for like the Vlogbrothers. I think it would be so fun. That would be a lot of time in the making, but I think it would be worth it. Like, just always been a big fan of theirs, and I think it would be so fun to make a video about them. I think it would also be fun to like plot the trends of literature, specifically young adult literature. That is my true love. But like, you know, how we went through a vampire phase and how we went through a dystopian phase and stuff like that, and track sort of how it happened. Like, try to trace down the original. Like, you know how Twilight came out and then suddenly there were a million spin-offs. The Hunger Games had been out for a long time before we all really discovered it, and then, you know, that spurred on its own collection of dystopian novels and Katniss-esque characters, the rise of SJM. Like, I think stuff like that would be really interesting. I kind of just want to try like some new stuff. Please let me know if you got to this point in the video. Thank you for sticking around. Bye!
To pick the winners of the book cover giveaway. I'm going to be picking 3 winners, and each will get a set of their choice of book covers. Examples: I put everybody who entered into this jar, and I'm just going to keep the camera rolling because while I would have liked to have done a live, I don't fully understand the software that lets you go live on all platforms all at once, so I'll just keep the camera rolling. and pick a couple of them. Okay. Sadie. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. There we go. I should have picked a larger jar. Okay. Morgan. This light is really just catching everything. And one more. I swear. Okay. And Brenna, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I will be emailing each of you to get in touch and figure out which set you want and to get all the details ironed out. Thank you so much to any of you who entered. I really appreciate you interacting and engaging with me. I've really been putting a lot of heart and soul into starting this business and stuff. So to see people actually enjoy the product is like very special for me. If you didn't get to enter and you want to be a part of the next one, please make sure to subscribe to my email newsletter. You know where the link can be found. That's where I kind of put out that information first, and it's usually the most reliable way for me to get in touch with you because I don't have to fight around Miss Algorithm. Congratulations again to Sadie, Morgan, and Brenna. I'm very excited to send you your book covers. Bye!
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together. Brighter than a lucky head. Keep pounding a rhythm to the brain. La da 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 dee. Da 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 da. Drums keep pounding a rhythm.
Welcome back to 10-minute writing sprint time, the part of the day where I write as fast as I can for 10 minutes. Today, do not expect greatness. I like the feeling of working hard, but you can't see it. But I can see, like, what am I saying? I can see, like, blood vessels in my eyes because I've been looking at a screen for so long. So after this, I'm gonna go and pour the largest bowl of Apple Jacks you've ever seen. Very excited about it. I didn't tell you what I'm writing. If you're new here, I'm sorry this is your first impression. And I am working on a young adult romance zombie apocalypse novel, and I'm doing it in 10-minute writing sprints every day. Then at the end of each session, I post up what I've written, in case you want to follow along. Let's go. Author friends on here, and I have a question for you. I know a lot of you have gotten art made specifically of your characters. If you don't know, I make book cover sets, and I have a very specific idea that I would love to see, but it is truly out of my wheelhouse. It's kind of more of a character art thing with like a stained glass background. I have a specific idea, I just can't execute it myself, and I'm wondering if you have any artists that you would recommend. I am looking at artists online, but I figured I might as well ask if you have any personal recommendations. Since they're going on book covers, I would need sort of like commercial rights or Something I would really love to do is set up some sort of commission structure where they make a certain amount whenever their design gets sold. I'm not the most business-minded person, so that idea is still kind of like getting worked out. But yeah, if you know any artists who you think are just like amazing, specifically at character design, fantasy vibes, feel free to drop their username in the comments, or if you could DM me, or if you are an artist yourself, give me a little wave. I really appreciate any help that you have on this front.
Give me peso, extendo. I carry bitches like I'm Greco.
Welcome back to 10-minute writing sprint time. I actually had to pull myself away from a book to do this, which is like such great news because for the past couple weeks I've really been in a reading slump, and it's not because the book I was reading was bad. I'm reading Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. It's fantastic. It was just like having a hard time really focusing on it, and I think I found the solution to reading slumps. It's to read a book. Oh my gosh. It's to read a book in the genre that you read as a teenager on Wattpad. I am currently reading an arranged romance mafia story. Having a great time. Look, I'm a slow reader, but it's been like a week and I'm halfway through. That's pretty significant for me. However, the writing sprint must occur, so let's get into it. Oh my gosh. Teenager on as a teenager on Wattpad.
All you got is this moment. 25 searches yesterday. You can
A while back, I was following this handmade artist who did some of the most amazing work ever. Like, it was beautiful. She quit her job to pursue it full time, and then within a couple of months, the algorithm stopped pushing her. She had to go back to a job that she didn't like, even though she was insanely talented and had what it took to turn her art into a business. If you don't know me, I'm Caitlin. I make a lot of book content. My full-time job is marketing. I saw that video like a long time ago, but it really stuck with me, and I sort of realized that the only marketing that she was doing was probably just posting on TikTok, and that's not her fault because that's what people tell you to do. But if she was really relying on TikTok without anything else to really help her, those aren't good odds. And recently I've been seeing a lot of indie author content, and especially indie authors who are facing these same odds, which is why I wanted to make this little series. You can't control the algorithm, and we certainly can't decide whether or not we go viral. We all would have done it by now if that was possible. But there are things that we can control that will make it easier for the algorithm to categorize you and help you find your people faster. And there are ways to circumvent the algorithm altogether through email marketing, learning how to rank in other search engines, etc. If you're an indie author, I want to share some of the stuff that I've learned in my marketing role. I think it could be helpful. If you already know all of this, like, be like, Caitlin, this is elementary level and you just didn't know this before you started your job. Or if I make a video on something and you want me to go more in depth, like, please let me know. I want this series to be as helpful as possible. I want to tailor it to y'all who are watching and what you actually need as authors, but generally I've sort of planned out some videos for authors who just finished their book and they're like completely new to marketing marketing and they're in the like, now what phase. At the end of each video in this series, I'll suggest a little like homework assignment so you can start making concrete steps towards a more cohesive and fleshed out marketing plan for yourself, hopefully without being too overwhelming, because marketing's kind of overwhelming if you don't have somebody to walk you through it. If this sounds like it would be helpful to you, please give me a follow and drop a comment, either like a little wave, or if you have a specific topic that has just gotten you really stuck, please let me know. I'm not some crazy marketing guru, but I am kind of a nerd about marketing stuff. I find it very interesting, and I have learned a lot in the past couple of years, so I'm really excited to work on this series. I'll be posting the first video pretty much right after I post this one, so if that's something you're interested in, please go check it out, and I hope I can help you get your book into the hands of more readers. Bye! If there's one thing about TikTok, it doesn't necessarily treat everyone equally. You know that a lot of us end up in 200 view jail, and while I want to assure you 200 is a lot of people, when TikTok pushes a video, it pushes it to those 200 people to see how they interact. Through some arbitrary rule, it decides whether or not that interaction was enough to keep pushing you to people, and if it wasn't, the video just kind of dies. Which means that someone who comes on the app 2 hours later, who might want to see your video, who's been looking forward to your content, they won't even get fed that video because it's basically like been retired by the time they get onto the app. This is why email can be so beneficial. It treats everyone equally and it ranks everything chronologically. Even if you end up in someone's promotions tab, you're still in a chronological place in their feed. This is why it's so important to start building an email list, especially if you're an indie author trying to push out your book. That way, if your TikTok about your book gets 10 views for some reason, or if your entire account gets deleted, because we know that sometimes TikTok does that, and you still have all those contacts that you built up over time. For the next couple of videos in this indie author marketing little series, we're going to be talking about email marketing. And while we'll talk about how to get people onto your email list in the next video, first we want to set up the foundation with an email automation service. Let's say you have 100 people who give you their email address. Instead of typing them all into your Gmail account, an email automation service lets you send out a mass email to all those people. It lets you segment people within your audience. So if you have 100 people and 20 of those people have already bought your book, you can have a separate email go out to those people, or you can exclude them from a certain sales email. And it also gives you stats as to how many people are opening your emails, how many people are clicking on the links that you send them. There's a lot of really helpful information that you can store and use within an automated email sender. There's a lot of different companies who have done this. I have used Aweber and ActiveCampaign. While ActiveCampaign does have my heart, I would recommend MailChimp for this. In my opinion, they have the best free plan. You can have a lot of contacts in there before you have to start paying. And then I feel once you reach that threshold, I don't know if it's like 1,000 people or something like that, but once you reach the threshold that MailChimp requires you to start paying, at that point, you'll probably be able to make that money back through your email campaigns. By the way, when I say campaign, that just means emails, because marketers love to use fancy words. So if you don't already have an email list that you're building, I would really recommend starting a MailChimp account. It's fairly easy, and then just play around with the settings a little bit. Go to the campaigns area. This is where you can write a new email, and you can also view your audience. This is where you can add people into your audience, aka the people who would be receiving your email campaigns, or you can have people opt in to join your audience, which we'll talk about later. So go ahead and sign up for MailChimp or your selected emailing service and play around, figure out how to set up a campaign. It'll usually walk you through it, which is super nice. And in the next video, we'll talk about getting people to join your audience or mailing list, so you actually have real people on the other end of your emails. Bye! Welcome back to the Indie Author Marketing Series. In the last video, we talked about email marketing and how you can use email to basically circumvent the algorithm and make sure important information actually reaches your audience. But how do you get people who follow you here on TikTok or any of the other apps onto your email list? There are two ways. You can just ask. There's people I've joined the email list of just because I'm interested in them and their projects, and I already know from watching their videos that I really want to read their book when it comes out. Second, you can offer a lead magnet. A lead is just someone who might buy a book from you. A magnet is by offering them something that they might like in exchange for their email address. So they don't have to pay for anything, but they do need to give you their information. For example, you could offer the first 3 chapters of your book. You could send them a PDF of a poster you've designed, because I know a lot of y'all are artists as well. You could give them a copy of a document that you might use to plan your own stories, because a lot of readers are also writers and they want help in that arena. The main thing that it needs to be is digital, unless you have a lot of money lying around because digital means that it is free for you to give away. If you're going to be sending a bunch of freebies to people, you do not want to pay for shipping. So if you're following along in this series, you'll know that in each video I give you a homework suggestion if you want to kind of take marketing in little bits and pieces. So today's homework would be to make your lead magnet, something that your potential reader would want enough to give you their email address. So get part of your story, your art, or some sort of resource that you think they would enjoy and turn it into a PDF. I recommend just putting it in Google Drive and then setting the privacy settings to anyone can view, but not everyone can edit because that can get messy. In the next video, we'll talk about the technical side of this, how to make the online form that people can use to exchange their email address, and how to automate that whole thing so that when somebody gives you their email address, they are automatically added to your email list. If you have any questions or you want to brainstorm what would be a good lead magnet for you, feel free to drop it in the comments. We can all brainstorm with you and figure it out. Bye! It is finally time for another daub of the day. For my drink, I have my Comfort water tumbler. She has a talent. Look at how hands-free I can be. Perfect for carrying multiple plates of snacks up to this office. This outfit might not look like much, but it is fall. I live in Texas where it's been 100 degrees up until like today. I woke up to a crisp 50 degrees, which is why we have broken out a flannel and my favorite yoga pants that I forgot I even owned because I've had to live in summer clothing. I am one of those fall people who rises back from the ashes when summer is over. I used to not be like that, but then I moved to a climate where it is so hot that you just don't stop sweating for like 4 or 5 months in a row. My book of the day might be a DNF for me, and not because it's not well written. I am reading Manacled. It is Harry Potter fan fiction, and it's getting turned into a real book, and for a good reason. I don't know if this is true, but I heard the woman who wrote this wrote it on her phone while she was like feeding her baby. Like that was what she did. If that's true, that is wild. The problem for me, I think, is that it might be too dark. If you've read Manacled, does it get a little less heavy as you go on? Because these first couple chapters are just like really brutal. Might be something I put down for now and then come back when I feel a little more ready for it. Yeah, I'm really torn. So any insight I would greatly appreciate. Have a good day. Welcome back to the Indie Author Marketing Series. In the last video, we talked about how to get people to give you their email address so that you can start sending them emails about your book and other upcoming projects. If you missed it, make sure to go check out that video, because in this one, we're going to kind of be talking about the technical parts of putting that together. I suggested using MailChimp for your automatic email sender, so that's what I'm going to be continuing to show you, but most other automatic email senders have very similar processes. So what you want to do is go to MailChimp and create a new landing page. I personally would make 2. One of them should just be join my newsletter, and one for your lead magnet for people who wanted the resource or chapters or whatever it is that you're giving them. So first we'll create the join my newsletter one. You'll set it so that anybody who fills out the form gets automatically added to your audience. There's a lot of different options for information that you can ask from people. You want to at least get their first name and their email address. I personally like to get first and last and their email address, but don't ask too much. If you start asking for their phone number or like extraneous information about them, MailChimp offers a lot of options, but I wouldn't go for them, because even though it doesn't seem like a lot of information, it can be very hard to get people to join a list like this. And so the more information you ask for, the less they're likely to decide that your lead magnet or your newsletter is worth the effort of filling out this form. If it's going to take them longer than like 20-30 seconds to fill out, they're not going to do it. To create the lead magnet landing page, you can create an automation that will send the PDF file of your lead magnet to the person's email right after they sign up, but I personally think it's just simpler and easier to set your landing page to take them directly to the PDF after they fill out your form. And awesome. So we have our landing pages, so we can get people to fill in their email address and automatically add themselves to your email list. Now we just have to connect the dots. In the next video, we'll talk about getting someone from a TikTok video where you mention your lead magnet or your newsletter sign up to that landing page where they can fill out the form and join your audience. Bye. How do you get people from a TikTok video to join your indie author emailing list? Let's discuss. In the last video, we talked about how to get someone to fill out an email form to join your mailing list, but how do they get to the form? You probably already know the answer to this. It's link in bio, which is why in this video we're going to set up a link tree. We need this because we want a central place for all of your links. This would include the landing page for your lead magnet, the landing page for your newsletter sign up, your website, and the link to buy your book. I recommend putting this in the bio of any social media you have. Linktree is fairly easy to join and it is free, which is great. You'll sign up, it'll give you options for a design, and from that design you can add buttons to your different landing pages or websites, and then you just add your link into your bio description. That way, no matter what you're talking about in your video, whether it's your book or your lead magnet or you're just asking people to sign up to your newsletter, they can go to your link tree and they'll immediately be able to tell where to go for the resource they're looking for. If you can't put your link in your bio because you're under 1,000 followers, because right now that is the threshold to add a link to your bio in TikTok, you have two choices. You will grow over time as you make content. People are going to find you and you're going to find that audience, but that can be a pretty slow process. And this might go against like traditional marketing advice, but you can also do follow for follow. It's an easy and fast way to get there. Find other indie authors who are sort of going through the same thing. Go ahead and follow them, like a video there, share it, save it, comment, those type of things to kind of get their attention and let them know like, hey, I'm here for you. Will you be here for me? Generally, the book and writer community is very supportive. However, I want you to be aware of the risk here is that if you get all these new followers and they don't engage, and some of them won't because follow for follow can sometimes lead to inactive followers, which means low engagement, which isn't always like the best indication to TikTok because of course you always want high engagement. My very personal opinion, do not take this for law. It is worth it and you do find active followers through that. However, I would slow down that effort after you reach 1,000. This isn't a permanent fix to continue getting followers into like the tens of thousands. Eventually you want people to be finding you organically and following you without really needing anything back from you, but that's a bit of a side tangent if you need that. So if you're following along in this series, you know I give a little like homework suggestions. So for today, that would be to build out your link tree and make sure all of your links are in there and to add that into your bio. So if you're following along, we now have a way to get people from your TikTok videos into your email list. Now, what on earth do we send to these people in the email list? I'll talk about that in the next video. Bye. Welcome back to the Indie Author Marketing Series. We've been talking about email marketing, and in the last video we talked about putting a link in your bio to get people to join your email list. In this video we're going to talk about what the heck to send them and how often. So first is the easy part. How often should you email people on your email list? However much you can keep up with consistently. I personally email out every Sunday because I really only have the bandwidth to do once a week. By the way, join my newsletter at the link in bio. I'm on some email lists that literally email me every day or multiple times a day. But if you are super busy and you only have time to email once a month, then that's how often you should email. It just needs to be something that you can handle and keep up with consistently. Now, what do you send them? The age-old question. People don't want to get bashed over the head with marketing emails. I'm sure you know this from your own personal experience. So while sometimes, yes, your emails are going to be like, hey, I published a new book, or my book is on sale, go get it right now. You don't want to do that all the time, or people are going to unsubscribe from your email list. My best advice for this is to let people get to know you, because if they become invested in you, they're going to want to support you, which means buying your books, which is really important because a lot of these bigger books where, you know, the author doesn't necessarily have to sell themselves, it's these massive books that have gone viral. They're usually traditionally published. They're in the bookstores. People happen upon them. Whereas on TikTok, I personally have to hear about a book a lot before I buy a book I've heard about on TikTok. And if you're an indie author, like it's just going to be harder to get that many people to be talking about your book. And so if you have people who are personally invested in you, they're going to be interested in what you have to say through your fiction, which is why I sort of recommend treating your email list kind of like a diary. You can tell them about something that's happening in your life or in your journey as an author or with your writing, and then kind of relate it to what they might be going through at the end. That's one thing you definitely want to do, is be relatable. If you blog a lot, this is a really good time to recycle your content, shorten it up, make it a little more personable maybe, depending on how you write your blog posts. If you're struggling with that, you can also, send people resources that have helped you. A lot of readers are writers, and so sending out anything that you found that helped you in your writing journey, that's a really good idea. Or if you found a book that you feel is similar to yours in genre that you love, feel free to talk about it. Talk about the genre, talk about what got you into that genre and writing that genre. And then you can always relate it back to your own book, and then a little link at the bottom being like, hey, if you want something like this, here's my book. The main goal with these emails is to entertain or inform. So whatever you do, you want it to be worth them opening the email so that they walk away with a glimpse into who you are, or something that they can take into their own lives and make it better, or just to have a laugh. And as a writer, you're a master storyteller. This is a great way to show off that skill, because asking someone to open an email is a much smaller ask than asking someone to spend money and read a whole book. So this is an easier way to get people to kind of get used to your writing style and your tone and get interested in hearing more from you. But writing emails is a little different from writing books, especially in the format. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next video. But if you're following along with these videos and you like the little homework suggestions that I've been giving for this one, I would recommend brainstorming a list of potential email ideas, things that you think you can talk about or have a specific insight into that you would like to share with your readers. See you soon. Welcome back to the Indie Author Marketing Tips series. For the past several videos, we've been talking about email marketing, and in the last one, we covered specifically what to send out in your email broadcasts. In this video, we're kind of continuing with that, but less about the actual content and more about the structure, because writing emails is a little different from every other style of writing. People skim emails, and you want to sort of cater to that by making them as easy to read as possible. So for an email sender, I've been suggesting MailChimp, and when you go in and make a new campaign to send to people, it'll ask you for a subject line. This is meant to pique curiosity. So if you've written your email draft, pick out anything that you think you could make the most clickbaity possible. I know people hate the idea of clickbait, but in an email subject line, those are the ones that perform the best. Also, as a word of warning, if you're going to be running a sale or something on your book, you want to be really careful about words you use and the punctuation you use, because Gmail, that's the one I feel like most people use anyway, it will sort of ding you if it feels like you're being spammy. So if you write the word sale in all caps 5 times in your subject line, there's a really good chance you're going to start going to spam. And while people check their promotions folder, which is where a lot of these email sender softwares end up, in my opinion, people don't check their spam. So I want to stay out of the spam folder. Whether you use the preview text is up to you. The preview text can be completely different from what's in your email. It can be a continuation of the subject line, like sort of a secondary subject line to get people to click, or you can leave that blank. That's optional. If you leave it blank, they'll just see the beginning of the email. You can personalize these emails. A lot of automated email senders, they will have some sort of formula type of thing that you can use, because when people signed up to your email list, if you remember, we asked them for their first name, sometimes their first and last name, because they're all in your email sender list. You can use that first name so that when they read the email, it's like, hey, Caitlin. So you can do that if you would like to. You just need to figure out what your email sender uses specifically. I cannot stress the importance of white space in an email. Like we said, people skim their emails. They're not really looking to read paragraph upon paragraph unless you have a very special audience who is willing to do that. Generally, with the cadence of emails, I wouldn't recommend writing super long sentences, or if you have a long sentence, break it up into phrases where you can say a little phrase and then use a ... ellipses, and then keep going. And generally, you don't want, I don't know how to describe this, lines stacked on top of each other. You want one line, white space, one line, white space, because it's easier to read. Don't overdo it, but bolding and italics are your friends for skimmers. With emails, generally, you want a positive spin at the end. So even if you're writing about something that went really wrong with your publishing journey or something like that, it's time to spin it into something great. Some lesson you learned that you can share with people that they can take into their own lives, something funny, or how it ended up turning out okay. You want people to come away with something that isn't like, well, dang, that sucked. And then, of course, at the very end, you want to have a CTA, or a call to action. This can be anything you want them to do. That could be to go buy your book, or to go watch the newest TikTok video you made that relates to the topic of the email somehow, etc. Always include a link to your book at the bottom of your emails. This can be as easy as being in your signature. For example, you could do Suzanne, and then one of those little bar thingies that I can't remember the name of, and then the Hunger Games, and then just hyperlink that. You could use it as a PS, like PS if you want to check out my latest book, here's the link, and then just hyperlink that. No matter what you link in your emails, do a test email. From someone who's made this mistake, there's nothing worse than sending out an email to a list of a lot of people and the link not working, or it being the wrong link to the wrong thing. This happens to everybody, and if it happens to you, I'm so sorry. It sucks. But we're all human. Send out a follow-up email being like, oops, wrong link, here's the right thing. However, to try to avoid that at all costs, your email automation software, there will be an option to do send a test email. Use that feature. You can send it to your own email, or if you have another email not associated with your account, you can send it to that. For example, like sometimes if I'm going to send a Google Drive link, I send it to an email that is like separate from my normal one, so I can see what it would be like for someone who doesn't have access to all my files. Like that's a good way to check to make sure that your stuff is on view and or on public or whatever it is that it needs to be, so that you don't accidentally lock a lot of people out. So if you've been following along with these videos and you like my little homework suggestions, my homework for you would be to write your first email and put it into your automated email sender. It's fairly self-explanatory. It walks you through the process when you say to start a new campaign, and send it. If it's just you and your best buddy on your email list, still send it. I feel like that's the best way to get over that initial like kind of stage fright of sending out through an email automator. You got this. See you later. Welcome back to the Indie Author Marketing Series. We've been talking a lot about email marketing, and if you've been following along in the series, then you know how to get people from your TikTok videos to your email newsletter and what you want to send them. Email is a massive topic. I have some other videos planned for later about some more advanced email topics, like how to increase your deliverability, how to get more people to open your emails and click on your links, as well as how to write a book launch or book sale series. But I kind of wanted to take a break and shelve that topic for a little while so we can move on to some other ones. But first, I felt like it was important we kind of cover some legal-ish stuff about email marketing. Disclaimer, I am so not a lawyer. This is just some stuff about email and like the law, I think, or at least email etiquette that I feel is very important to know if you have an email list. First, and very important, is making sure that people can unsubscribe. When someone gives you their email address through a lead magnet or a newsletter sign up, they are giving you permission to send them emails. When they unsubscribe, they're revoking that permission. At that point, you can't keep emailing them. There are ways that you can try and re-engage and stuff, but generally for now, you would just stop emailing them. This is why, like, legally, you have to have an option to unsubscribe at the bottom of your emails. If you're using an email automation service like MailChimp, that will automatically be embedded into any of their like pre-made email templates that you use. Do not delete this. And as a side note, I want to assure you that like if somebody unsubscribes, it's okay. People are going to unsubscribe, and that's fine. If they're not interested and they're not going to be opening your emails, you don't really want them on your list anyway because it'll lower your engagement rate. So a few people unsubscribing here and there is totally fine. If it starts happening in droves, then maybe you need to do some investigating. But for the most part, it's very expected for people to unsubscribe every once in a while. Next is sharing people's email addresses. Honestly, I don't know much about the legality surrounding this, but don't do it. This is a break in trust with your audience. And so even if you're just like trying to help out maybe another author or someone, that's not the way to do it. Like, feel free to plug other people's books and work and stuff like that, but you don't want to just like hand over your list of email subscribers and vice versa. Email addresses are people's data, and you do want to be sensitive about that, even if that means telling someone no and saying that they can't have that information. And that is going to wrap up email marketing for now. We'll circle back around to those topics that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, but for now, enjoy sending emails out to your list. It's super exciting, and it's a great way to connect with your potential readers. For the next few videos, we're going to switch gears and talk about SEO, or search engine optimization, and how to get your website and hopefully your book ranking in Google. If you don't have a website, I would highly recommend getting one, and if you can, purchasing a domain for it. For example, like yourname.com is perfect, or if you're using a pen name, yourpenname.com. If you can avoid it, you don't want to do something where it's like yourname.wix.com. Generally, it just looks a little less professional, but if you're not in a place where you can buy a domain, having that is better than not having a website at all. So just do what you can with that. SEO is probably my favorite topic when it comes to marketing, so I'm really excited to talk to you guys about it. In the meantime, if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, I'd love to have you. You'll find it here. Bye! is SEO and how can you use it to rank in Google as an indie author? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Caitlin. I post a lot of book content here, but my full-time job is marketing, and so I've been doing a little series about tips and stuff that I've learned at my job that I think could be helpful for indie authors. Last week we talked a whole bunch about email marketing, and now we're moving to SEO, or search engine optimization. Search engine optimization primarily is how you use keywords and phrases in your content or your product listing to help a search engine like Google, Amazon, even TikTok know first what you're talking about, and second who would be interested in that content or product. If a piece of content or listing that you create is perfectly optimized for the search engine, then you have a better chance of the algorithm showing you to people or having Google crawl your pages up in the search results. The first page of Google is always our goal. I can't remember the specific stat, but very, very few people actually go to the second page of Google. So we want to be where people are going to see us. If I make a TikTok video here about marketing, but I don't include any subtitles, I don't include any captions, and I maybe just put an emoji or something, it makes it a lot harder for TikTok's algorithm to figure out what this video is about and who might enjoy it, because there's basically no text for it to read. Now, it can pick up what I'm saying, obviously, but having that extra text on screen and stuff is very helpful. That's why in these videos, you might hear me say indie author marketing very early in the video, or other terms like book marketing or indie author mailing list, SEO for indie authors, things like that. You obviously don't want to sound like a robot, and you don't want to keyword stuff just to get the algorithm's attention, because even if you are perfectly optimized, if people don't like your content, then it won't matter. But being intentional about your wording and phrasing can be very helpful. I hope I explained that well. If there's something you're confused about the way I said it, please let me know in the comments. In the next video, we'll be talking about how to find good keywords for your content so more people end up seeing your books and your website and your content. Bye! How do you and your book start ranking in Google as an indie author? In the last video, we talked about SEO, or search engine optimization, and why it's important to use good keywords so that search engines like Google, TikTok, and Amazon know what you're talking about and who to serve your content up to. These SEO tips are pretty general, but for the most part, they're going to kind of be more centered about article or blog content that you put on your website, because we want to add content to your site that draws in potential readers. So we'd probably be wanting to write blog posts surrounding keywords that your ideal readers are going to be searching for. For example, if you write romantasy, you might want to talk about books like ACOTAR or books like Fourth Wing, because the people who are most likely to like your book probably also like those books, and they are going to be actively searching on Google using those keywords. To find a good word that is like essentially trending on Google, you can do it a few ways. There are sites like Answer the Public or SEMrush that give you a certain amount of searches per day. Because you know your audience, like, you can kind of put yourself in that mindset and start typing things into Google and see what pops up in autofill. This is also very effective in YouTube. Or you can use a software like Surfer SEO. In my opinion, this is the best option, but it's definitely not free. However, when it comes to writing articles, I feel like it's the most in-depth. If you want me to dive into how to use those or explain any of them, please let me know in the comments. If you're making TikToks, you can use built-in tools like Creator Search Insights. And if you're making YouTube videos, you can use TubeBuddy in a similar way. However, finding good keywords is not like a foolproof process, because a search engine like Google is not only going to take your content into account, it's also going to take in your authority. For example, if the New York Times puts out an article about a topic, even if it's not well optimized, it's still going to rank fast and it's going to rank high in Google because of the site's authority. This is called domain authority, because the domain nytimes.com has built up a lot of trust in the eyes of Google. It has a ton of articles out there, it has a lot of traffic. Those things make Google see you and be like, oh, this person is an authority in this space, and people are going to want to see that one first in Google. You build authority over time by putting out good content on your site. It takes a little bit of time. You can crawl well in Google as a small website. Just understand that even if you are perfectly optimized, there are some sites that are just going to be very incredibly hard to beat out. Looking at you, Amazon. So now we know a bit more about how to find keywords. In the next video, we're going to talk about which keywords to avoid, because not all keywords are created equal. If this series has been valuable to you, please click the follow button and subscribe to my newsletter here if you want to hear more from me. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being here.
I wanted to say a quick thank you to all of these sci-fi authors that I'm following. Y'all Explain Science stuff related to science fiction stories has now opened up for the first time ever STEM section of TikTok for me. Do I have a single clue what they're talking about over there? No, but I'm still enjoying it.
What is a bad keyword to aim for. Hi, I'm Caitlin. I post a lot of book and writing content, but my full-time job is marketing, and so I wanted to bring a few tips that I've learned here that I think will help indie authors in their marketing. If that sounds like you, please stick around. In the last video, we talked about writing content for your website and how to find keywords that your readers are already searching for so you can start ranking for those keywords in Google. In this video, we'll talk about how to avoid bad keywords, aka the keywords that are nearly impossible to rank for. So we talked about how to find keywords using Google autofill and other softwares. If you're using something like SEMrush or Surfer SEO, you will see a number next to the keyword. You can change your settings, but the default should be the monthly keyword search volume, which is just how many times people search that keyword in a month. Good keywords generally have a large search volume. For example, if I'm using Surfer SEO and I type in ACOTAR, it has an insane search volume. And in theory, you might right away think that that's a good keyword to try and rank for. However, if the search volume is that high and the difficulty is very high, you'll usually see it marked red if it's very difficult. While you don't necessarily need to always shy away from a difficult keyword, one that has such a large search volume is just going to be near impossible to rank for, because no matter how amazing your article or blog post about ACOTAR is, you are going to have to beat out every bookstore, Amazon, the author's own website, any viral content out there, not to mention if the keyword has paid ads, which already take up the top little bit of Google. It's rough out there. But if you think people who like ACOTAR would like your book, then you might want to target a more specific keyword. For example, ACOTAR reading order. Should I read ACOTAR or Throne of Glass first? ACOTAR summary. These are called long tail keywords. They also help you avoid shopping keywords. So the things that you would type in if you are looking to make a purchase, because you know the big stores and Amazon and stuff, they're going to be really hard to beat out. So you kind of want to avoid those most of the time. However, with your long tail keywords, you don't want to go too long, because if you target a keyword that is so specific that nobody actually has used that phrasing in Google, that's not going to help you much either. So if you've been following along with my little homework suggestions, I would recommend using Google autofill, testing out the free version of SEMrush or answerthepublic.com. Or if you're willing to take the plunge, you can check out my favorite tool, Surfer SEO. This is not sponsored, but guys, if you want to sponsor me, I talk about you all the time. See what your ideal reader might be typing into Google or other search engines, make a little list, and then in the next video, we'll talk about how to use them in your content to optimize for search engines to hopefully start getting your website pushed out into the world. And if this has been valuable to you, please click the follow button. And if you want to hear more from me, you can subscribe to my newsletter here. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Princess, shut up!
Welcome back to the Indie Author Marketing Tips series. For the past few videos, we've been talking about how to start ranking your website in Google and other search engines. In the last video, we talked about what makes a keyword good or bad to target in your content on your site. By content, I just mean what you're putting in your blog posts section. And if you're not doing that yet, it's the perfect time to try. Let's say you're targeting the keyword romantasy book recs. You don't actually need to use it like 50 times in your blog post. Usually just a couple times is enough. I'm talking like 2 or 3. And then after that, you want to use variations of that keyword or other phrases that would sort of go with that. Think sort of like book recs for romantasy readers, favorite romantasy books, fantasy romance. These are all related words that are going to support your effort in ranking for a specific keyword. However, you want to use the exact wording of the keyword you're trying to rank for in your title. As far as my experience, this is like the number one impactor. So whether you're making a YouTube video or an article for your site or whatever it is, make sure it's in there. If you're making a shorter video, like a TikTok video that doesn't necessarily have a title, your keyword needs to be in the text on screen, in the caption, you need to say it, and you want to do that first, like knock out the keyword first. And remember that subtitles are editable. You can add a word or change one out here and there to improve the keywords that you're using. If you're writing an article, make sure that you're using some of those keyword alternatives in your additional headings and subheadings. And if it feels applicable and you're adding an image to your article, you can always include alt image text. You don't want to be keyword stuffing here, but if one of your keywords really describes what's going on in the picture, that is a great time to add one in. And of course, with this content, and I'm talking specifically about like articles and blog posts, we're not just trying to rank, we're also trying to sell your book. So remember to include a quick mention of your book somewhere that makes sense and hyperlink some of the text so that people can go buy your book. So for example, if you are writing an article about romantasy book recs, start off with a couple popular ones, because when people are scrolling the page, they're going to kind of like to see something they're familiar with a little bit, then maybe show one that people haven't really heard about, and then include yours. It doesn't have to be in the very last spot. But remember that these search engines are comparing you to other articles. So if a bunch of other articles are mentioning a book in their romantasy book recs, it's a good idea to put it in yours, especially if you've read it, obviously. And like I said, this isn't just applicable for articles. Like, take a look at your Amazon listing. Are you using keywords? Is your genre and your specific niched down subgenre listed? Maybe listed more than once. Is there enough actual content in the body of your listing for Amazon's search engine to really figure out what your book is about and who might like it? SEO can pretty much be applied to anywhere that you have written content, so consider where you're selling your book and how you can use keywords to get it to rank better. In the next video, we're going to go into a few things to avoid when you're using your keywords, because if you use them incorrectly, Google can ding you a little bit, and we don't want that. So stay tuned, and if this has been valuable to you, please click the little follow button. And if you want to hear more from me, you can subscribe to my newsletter here. Thanks for being here. Bye. Is Black Hat SEO, and how can it hurt you as an indie author trying to market your book? Hi, I'm Caitlin, and this is the Indie Author Marketing Series, where we talk about how to get your book into the hands of more readers. In the last videos, we've been talking about how to use keywords to improve your SEO or search engine optimization so that your content can start ranking in Google, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you're posting stuff, to help get the word about your book out there. In this video, we'll talk about a few ways that people use keywords incorrectly, sometimes referred to as Black Hat SEO. In its most basic form, Black Hat SEO kind of, in my opinion, tries to trick search engines to start ranking their content. However, search engines are pretty smart, and they'll kind of ding your content if they realize that you're using these tactics. There's a lot of ways to do this, but there's two that I feel are just almost more accidental, or people think it's a good idea, but it can actually kind of hurt them. The first is one that actually worked a long time ago, and Google has since wised up, and that is using text that is the same color as your background. So when people were writing content, they would get to the end of their article, and let's say you have a white background, they would change their text to white, and then just write a paragraph full of keywords without writing real sentences, and that way Google could see it, like a search engine could read it, and they would see all these great keywords, but it wouldn't mess with the reader experience. I know this was also super popular with like Instagram stories, where people would either like do the same color text, or they would make the text just so small that you couldn't really see it. I don't know if Instagram penalizes you for that these days, but Google definitely does. So please don't do that to your website. Next is repeating your keyword or similar keywords in an article or in the text on your screen in a way that's so gratuitous that it messes with the user experience. Firstly, Google will sort of notice that, but like I said, the main problem here is messing with the reader or watcher experience. Google's looking at your content for those keywords and your general optimization, but it is also very much looking at the user experience. If you've got a lot of keywords like stuffed together that make your writing feel very clunky or weighed down, this is literally called keyword stuffing. It makes it harder for the reader because your content doesn't read naturally. Thus, they will bounce off the page. Bouncing just means they open an article, see it for a second, they're like, oh, no way, and they go away. That really tells Google that there's something wrong with your content, even if it's optimized perfectly for the search engine. Because Google wants people to use it, and if users don't like your content, it's just going to keep pushing you down in the rankings. That's why, realistically, user experience is your primary goal with your content, and then like SEO is a close second. That's why in the next video we'll be talking about a few more things that have everything to do with user experience and not really anything to do with keywords that still really impact your SEO. Bye!
Can't take my charm, can't take my humor, can't take my world, 'cause it's just
They call me Hell. They call me
huge part of using SEO as part of your indie author marketing plan is ensuring your website stays reader friendly. And I have 3 tips that can really make the difference between your website ranking on the first page of Google and never seeing the light of day. Was that dramatic enough? Hi, I'm Caitlin. This is the Indie Author Marketing Series where we talk about getting your book into the hands of more readers. In the last videos, we've been talking about how to use keywords to improve your SEO or search engine optimization and get blog posts and articles on your website ranking into Google so that more people can find your book. In this video, we're going to talk about how to make sure your reader has a great experience on your website so that Google continues to push you further in the rankings. We've already talked about a lot of keyword stuff, but there's 3 things that you can do to an article that really don't have a lot to do with the content that still make a huge difference when it comes to SEO. Those are pictures, headings, and paragraph breaks. Using images in your articles and blog posts is so important. If somebody comes onto your site and sees a wall of text, they are going to immediately bounce away, like 99% of the time. If Google sees that your site is having a very high bounce rate, it's going to ding you for it. So incorporating a few images into your articles is a great idea. I've talked before about like my favorite ever SEO tool, which is Surfer SEO. It'll tell you how many photos are optimal for your keyword, but generally I would include about 5 images unless your topic is very visual. For example, if you're doing like the best book covers of 2024, you would want to include more photos. Next is headings. We've already talked about using keywords and related keywords in your headings to emphasize to Google what topics you're really talking about and who your ideal reader is so it can rank you better. But the sheer number of headings you use is important too. Most people, when they're looking for information online, they are probably going to be skimming, and you want to make your content as skimmable as possible, which means making a new heading or subheading pretty much anytime you move to a new point. Ideally, your reader should just be able to skim and mostly be looking just at the headings, and they should know what the article is about and already be able to come with a few takeaways from it. Google knows that that is how people use information online. And so when they see that you're using enough headings, they see that as a positive towards your SEO. Of course, you don't want to overdo it, but if you're reading it and you feel like it's skimmer friendly, then that is a good indication that you've used a good amount of headings. Paragraph breaks are sort of the same thing. If someone comes to your website and they see just a wall of text, they're probably going to bounce off right away. So having a lot of paragraph breaks will improve your SEO because it improves your reader experience. Sometimes a longer paragraph is just going to make sense, but I usually would recommend staying to about 3 or 4 sentences at the most, because remember, we're going for skimmability. So if you've been following along with the homework suggestions I've been sort of giving along the way of this series, your homework would be to write an article centered around one of your keywords and to publish it to your site. A while back, we talked about your website authority, and part of that is consistently putting up helpful content. So I would recommend figuring out a posting schedule that works for you and your life, and try to start publishing on a regular basis. In the next videos, we're going to switch from written content to video content and how to improve your content quality to get more viewers and hopefully readers. So stay tuned. And if this has been valuable to you, please give me a follow. And if you want to hear more from me, you can subscribe to my newsletter here. Thanks for being here. Bye.
I'm Hermione Granger, and you are?
I don't want to be. I want to spend my life savings on this. I want to abandon all financial responsibility and dump it in here.
I know so many last words, but I'll never know hers. I'll never know her thoughts in those last minutes. We'll never know if she left us on purpose.
Welcome back to yet another Dob of the Day. For my drink, I have a Smart Water that I bought at the airport yesterday. For my outfit, we have a full Gamecocks fit. I'm not usually a football person, but I can fill you in that the Gamecocks won this weekend. I went to the homecoming game. It was very fun. I will try to insert some video footage here for you. Major upset, so that was a lovely time to be there, but I feel like I've lost my voice a little bit from screaming so much. I also, hold on, I have the cutest little bow. I hope that this is in frame. I'm still wearing it the following Monday because I paid $35 for it, and I'm gonna get some use out of it. You can't really see it, but the cherry on top of this outfit is how much mascara has run down my face today. In case you're new here, I am having surgery on my knee next week because I have torn my meniscus, and today I found out how much it's gonna be. We must laugh or we will cry. For my book, I'm doing the audiobook of La Vie de Guinevere. It's a King Arthur story, like retelling, but it's from Guinevere's perspective. She's like in our modern time, and then Merlin comes to let her know that she's actually Guinevere from the 600s, and she has to go back in time. But I'm enjoying it so far, and the author posts a lot here on TikTok. Her name is Paula Lafferty. Highly recommend following her. She has a really inspirational like publishing story. And that's it from me today. Have a lovely week, friends.
This one is for my ballet friends on here. So I've been seeing just like a lot of content about adult ballet classes because that is what I take and I started as an adult. And I have seen so many people talking about whether they're taking Balanchine or Vaganova classes. And I was like, my teacher's Cicchetti. I honestly don't know if I'm saying that all the way correctly. I was interested what school of thought your teachers are trained in. Every style of ballet is incredibly difficult, but I feel like learning Balanchine would be really, really hard as an adult. If you've ever taken open classes, I feel like Balanchine is just so different from everything else. My teacher told me that when Balanchine dancers are doing like chenets, which are already near impossible for me, they spot front. I beg your ever-loving pardon. Welcome back to 10-Minute Writing Sprint Time, where I theoretically write for 10 minutes every day on a young adult romance zombie apocalypse novel, except it hasn't been every day. There's been times since I've started this project that I've skipped like a day, like maybe 2. Has it been 4 days? I think there's a chance it's been even longer. This week sort of kicked my butt, and I didn't even have the knee surgery this week. That's on Tuesday. I tend to be quite the perfectionist, so I'm trying to give myself some grace on this project, especially knowing that this upcoming week is probably not going to be super consistent for me either. But this Sunday has been fairly chill for me. I got to go see the production of Paris Opera House Swan Lake in IMAX today. It was incredible. And so I'm just gonna try and enjoy this 10 minutes and not think about how much further in the story I could be if I had made the time this week. So if you are doing any type of November writing challenge, as I know so many people are, take solace in the fact that you're doing at least better than me. As usual, I will post up the results at the end of the video in case you are following along with the story. Let's go!
Don't know what you got till it's not my day. So tell me that you love me again. I wanna be your lover. Baby, I'll hold my breath. You don't know what you got till it's not my day. So tell me that you love me again. Again. Is it that sweet? I guess so. I'm working late, 'cause I'm a singer. Oh, you look so cute, wrapped around my finger. My twisted humor, making love so often. My honeybee, come and get this pollen. So glad your ex don't do it for you. Walked in and dream came true for you. Soft skin and not perfume for you. Yes, I know.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Been better, Carrie Ann. Yeah.
Here's my coffee, and here's what I'm currently reading.
As an indie author, you are your own marketing team. And we all know that higher content quality can get more eyes on your book. But if you don't have fancy cameras and equipment, how do you improve your content quality? Hi, I'm Caitlin. This is the Indie Author Marketing Series, where we talk about getting your book into the hands of more readers. So we've been talking about email marketing as well as content marketing on your website using SEO. And in the next few videos, we're going to be talking about improving your video content quality to attract more viewers, aka readers. Disclaimer. I do marketing for my job, but as far as my marketing experience goes, it's mostly behind the scenes and I am not personally making the content. However, I am very passionate about video. I've been making videos on and off for YouTube for 9 years. I had to go back and look at the date of my first video and wow. And I've been on TikTok a while. And while I definitely wouldn't say I'm a content creation expert by any means, and I don't have like an insane amount of followers, I do have a few inexpensive and or free tips that I've found along the way making those videos that I feel have improved my content and then also kind of personally made me more proud of what I'm able to put out because I feel like they're higher quality. So for the next couple of videos, I kind of wanted to change gears and share that stuff with you. And first we're going to talk about a pretty easy camera setting on your phone, the frames per second. Shout out to my sister-in-law for showing me this a while back because I didn't know you could change this. But when we talk about frames per second, video is just a series of photos in rapid succession. So the more frames you have per second, the higher your video quality will be. If you have an iPhone, your phone's default is probably 30 frames per second, but you can change this and you can put it to be 60 frames per second. This is one of the reasons why some people's videos from their phones look so crystal clear. Just make sure if you end up using an editing software like InShot to make sure you're still saving in that 60 frames per second. However, just keep in mind, if you're like me and you have constant storage issues on your phone, filming at 60 frames per second is gonna like almost essentially double the size of your video file. So if you're having storage issues or you're worried that you're gonna run out while you're filming, 30 is still a high video quality. It's just 60 tends to be a little more clear. In the next couple videos, we're gonna be talking about a couple easy editing tips that can make your content feel like it's moving at a faster pace and keep people more engaged. So stay tuned. And if this has been valuable to you at all, please click the follow button. And if you would like to hear more from me, you can do that here. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Everyone, I have an announcement. Popular. You're gonna be popular.
Welcome back to 10-minute writing sprint time. Not gonna lie, I don't really want to do this today, but I skipped this weekend because I was really busy and I don't want to keep skipping days. However, I was just laying on the floor reading Faded Shot. I'm halfway through, really enjoying it, and I would like to get back to that. But there is still some work left to do today, so I'm gonna see how many words I can knock out in 10 minutes and get to that, and then hopefully get back to reading. I just want to lay on the floor and do nothing. I'm gonna guess that's a sign of burnout. The holidays are coming. Holidays are coming.
Stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. The prairies.
I'm gonna stab him. Hicks, or it didn't happen. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What is blue sky? No, I'm just saying, why are they always crying? I have been waiting for this movie for 20 years.
What is the millennial pause? And are you doing it? Hi, I'm Caitlin. This is the Indie Author Marketing Series. And this week we're talking about a few things that can improve your video content quality for when you're making videos here on TikTok or any of the other social medias. And today we're going to be talking about cutting out the millennial pause. The millennial pause is sort of what Gen Z calls this moment of silence right before you start talking in a video. It is called this because millennials tend to be the culprit of this, but it's the reason a lot of people scroll away from a video before you even start talking. If you don't really know what it is, here's an example. This week I finished The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson versus this week I finished The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. If you noticed in the first one, there's a big breath that I take at the beginning, which is a normal part of speaking. But with social media and our sort of shortening attention spans, if someone starts a video and there's nothing at the very beginning except for you breathing in, they're probably gonna scroll. So when you're editing, you want to look at your mouth and not necessarily be looking at the sound waves or your physical like placement. A while back when I was editing, I had this pause in there all the time, and it was because I was either one, I would set up the camera and then I would sit in front of the camera, and then once I was there in my position, that's when I started the video, but I still needed to take that breath and start the video. Or once I got into more like sophisticated editing softwares, I would cut the video right when I would see the audio taking off. But if you are using a microphone, that audio, it's going to pick up the audio of that breath. And so it's going to look like you're talking in the sound waves, but you're actually not speaking yet. So when you're starting the video, you want to start when you're like halfway through the first letter or syllable of what you're going to say. If you're, scooting the time thingy along, you're looking to see if your mouth is open or fully formed around that first letter. That way, when the video starts or somebody scrolls onto your video, they are immediately met with you speaking. This sort of immediately launches somebody into your video without having this like moment to pause, and it really helps the beginning of your video sort of take off at a good pace, as opposed to having to like ramp up into your video. In the next video, we'll talk about layering your audio so that you're able to really keep people's attention even better by cutting out any pauses in your speech. In my opinion, this is the biggest change that I made to my YouTube videos that made them really feel that they had a good, exciting pace from the beginning, even if I was talking about more intro type content. And I find layering audio to be really fun, so I'm excited to talk to you guys about it. If this video has been valuable to you, please click the follow button. And if you'd like to hear more from me, you can find my newsletter here. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Made it out alive, but I think I lost it. Said that I was fine, said it from my coffin. Remember how I died when you started walking? That's my life, that's my life. I put up a fight, taking out my earrings. Don't you know the vibe? Don't you know the feeling? It's just been the night, catch me on your ceiling. That's your price, that's your price. Well,
And where down we go?
This week we're talking about a few things that can improve your video content quality for when you're making videos for social media. In the last video we talked about the millennial pause and how to get rid of it. And in this video we're going to kind of continue that idea by talking about layering your audio. We can hear more than one sound at once, and we kind of want to use that to our advantage when we're making videos. It's more interesting and it kind of keeps you from losing people's attention because it cuts out any breaks where you're going to be breathing or pausing. The way you want to do this is when you're cutting video. You'll cut out any time that you're pausing. And if you want more information, go ahead and look at the last video that I posted about this. But you want to get the cut right up to when your mouth is already forming around the first letter or syllable of the word you're saying. That'll make sure there's no moment of silence. Once you've cut all of those out, then you're going to want to layer them. So usually when you're editing video, you have different tracks, 2 video tracks, 2 audio tracks. So when you get to a cut, you will move the video up a track and the audio down a track and then sort of overlap it. This will give you a tiny little second of when your audio overlaps. It's almost like instead of putting a period at the end of a sentence, you're putting a comma that encourages people to keep going to get to the end. I'm not sure, I know there's tons and tons of video editing apps out there. I believe you can do this definitely in Premiere Pro, that's what I use on the computer. And then I think you can do it in InShot, which is what I usually use when I'm editing video on my phone. And you can definitely do that when you're filming like a voiceover. Speak for a certain amount of time and then stop it. Go back on the timestamp just a little bit and then start speaking again, and that will naturally overlap things. You don't want to overlap so much that it sounds like multiple people are speaking and it's like, oh, what are they saying? There's just like kind of the last syllable of the last word overlapping with the first little like noise of the second clip that you're having. And it depends on what type of video you're doing. Normally for a short form video, you might want to do it for the whole time. Usually when I'm making long form videos, like 20-30 minutes, that is really intense to do for 20 and 30 minutes. And normally if you can get someone to watch the first 2 minutes of your video, they're hooked into the content enough that they're going to stick around. So I would recommend just doing the first minute or 2 just to get people past that initial of, do I want to be here or not? And I know that like overlapping audio and like making those tiny little adjustments can seem like overkill, but those little like milliseconds of silence between phrases can really cause video content to feel less engaging and slow down the pace, which sometimes you want. For example, in a podcast, you maybe don't want all those like quick cuts and stuff like that. You want it to feel like a conversation, but if you're making short form or something that's supposed to be more highly edited, that overlapping audio can really take things to the next level. If you have any questions about it or like how to do it, please let me know. This has been, I think, one of the most important changes I've personally made to my content in the last year. I feel like it helps me come across as like a little bit more upbeat and professional. And if this has been valuable to you, please click the follow button. And if you'd like to hear more from me, you can subscribe to my newsletter here. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Watching her pack to leave for the 600s was so anxiety inducing. You know, these characters, when stuff like this happens, they're real lucky that they have 20/20 vision naturally. One of the things Vera loves so much is running. Wish I could relate, can't. And she packs her running shoes and like sports bras and normal underwear, and she's like, I know that this is going to like cause a stir, but I literally cannot not have this. But me, personally thinking through my packing list, I'm like, okay, am I bringing my glasses, which I don't think have been invented yet, or am I bringing my contacts with its many accessories and like as much contact solution as I can possibly bring with me? We're on our way to this like natural springs area where we're gonna perform this spell to go back in time. She can tell that Merlin doesn't like Lancelot, and Guinevere's like, I'm sensing some tension here. But Merlin does say that the whole Lancelot thing is a myth, because in almost every King Arthur retelling, Guinevere and Lancelot have an affair. And she's like, what on earth am I walking into here? I've been making YouTube videos for like 9 years, and then I started taking it like pretty serious about a year and a half ago, and I feel like I've picked up a lot of tips along the way. Doing that was really helpful to me. So while we'll be getting back to the like marketing stuff probably next week, I did want to share some of these things because I know that as your own marketing team, a lot of the time that includes video. And today we're going to be talking about lighting tools. One of the reasons people scroll past a video is because it's not grabbing them visually because it's too dark. There are a few different options. Your first and your free one is the sun. This obviously kind of controls what time of day you'll be able to film, but sunlight is definitely your friend if you can film in a really like light-filled area with the window facing you. Or you can get, I love this thing so much. Okay. You can get this. It clips onto your phone and it's the cutest. I think it was like $15. The one I have is New Moa, but I really like this one. It is incredibly bright. I don't want to like blind you. Turn on. Can you tell how bright it is? I don't want to shine it directly into the camera and hurt your eyes. And that's like not even as bright as it goes. Slightly more expensive than that, depending on which way you're going, is a ring light. I really like them because they usually have a built-in thing to put your phone into. That's what you're in right now, by the way. I have like one of those traditional ring lights that I really like, and you can change it from a white light to a more yellow light. I'm a yellow light type of gal. Or if you're like really into video, you can invest in some, I don't know what they're actually called. I call them fancy lights. I will show you. This, it's got the dials that you can adjust, and there's like just a lot of light here. And then you can place like a shadow box around it. The brand I have is Newer. There are people all over the internet who know way more about lighting than I do, but there's 2-point and 3-point lighting systems. The key light, which is the main light, so I have my key light here, and then you have a secondary light. So I have a tiny bit of sunlight coming through here, but I actually am using a second light as a fill light, so it kind of is coming in this direction. I count this as a light because it's sort of lighting me from behind, so sort of a backlight. With a backlight, you don't necessarily want like so much brightness that you look like a shadow, but if you can aim a light at like the wall behind you, it sort of creates this like a better contrast between your physical body and your background. It makes you stand out a little bit more. What you don't want is just like a light here and then holding your phone. It makes you Phantom of the Opera vibes. Depending on how interested you are in lighting, I would just recommend at least having a key light and then something that's sort of softening that in sort of intense key light. Look at me, finally using that Media Arts minor. Wow. In the next video, we're going to move on to something that's even more important, and that is audio. In the meantime, if this has been valuable to you, please click the follow button, and if you would like to hear more from me, the link to my newsletter can be found here. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Thank you.
follow you into the park, through the jungle, through the dark. God, I never loved one like you. Boats and boats and waterfalls, alleyways and payphone calls. I'll be here never with you. We laugh until we think we'll die, barefoot on a summer night. Nothing new is sweeter than with you. And in the street we run free like it's only you and me.
If my For You page has shown me anything this week, it's that everyone else can sing like opera soprano and figure skate. And I can't do either of those things. Let me tell you, this is one heck of a time to be experiencing burnout. And I know several of you have followed me for the Indie Author Marketing Series. I want to keep doing that. Right now, I'm kind of compiling it all into a Google Doc, and then I'll be publishing those videos elsewhere, so I'll leave a link to that. I'm planning to sort of just add more information over time to that Google Doc. And then I think I have 3 more videos that are like edited and ready to go that I plan to post here. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope that we get to keep this app, but just in case, I wanted to at least have that resource available because I know several of you said it was really helpful to you, and that makes my heart so happy. So I wanted to make sure that that information didn't get lost to the winds. And that I do post weekly on the red play button. So I know pretty much every single person on the universe has asked you to visit their link in bio, so it is there if you would like to, and if not, I get it. Just say hi if you see me over there. Maple.
And it went like
I can't forget the day we met. Your eyes so blue, me piercing through. I can't forget the day we met. Your smile so bright, it made me swoon. Our love is like a summer's day, hot and endless in a magic way. Whenever I see you, all I can think is my summer love. Been waiting for you, my love. My summer love. Been waiting for you, my love. I can't forget the day we met. You look so fly in your red Corvette. Your hair, your look, your everything. When I see it all, I knew that you were mine. I'm in love with your hair, your lips, your silhouette in the moonlight shine. With my love, you won't ever be alone.